And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thursday, August 20th. My name is Dan Repay, and I sit in on occasion and talk about anything that you really want to talk about. I'm assuming this is going to be heavily related to storm, which I think you guys were talking about all this week. And unfortunately, it was, or this week, it's been almost 2 weeks now, since a week and a half since that storm came in, and we could tell great stories and we could tell bad stories. But I was thinking on the way in, I said, I think I want to give away gift cards to good stories or funny stories or good people that did good things. I mean, it's a bad situation. Currently, I'm still without power. It is not fun. But at this point, you just laugh about it because we're on, let's see, it's going to be day 9. I don't know. What do you count the full Tuesday as a day, or do you?
I would say so because everybody's power went out before noon.
That is true. It went out at just over past 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So we're going to be, let's see, if that's the case, then this is day 10 for me. So, and we could all talk about good, fun stories. We could talk about problems that you may have that we could maybe solve. I wish I could solve the problem that just walked in the studio, but I can't necessarily control him, Mr. Jim Delo.
Hi, how is everybody? I just want to thank you for doing the show this morning.
You guys switch these microphones around.
Well, why? Why would you thank me? I'm
You're
happy.
fine. You could do whichever one. I turned both of them on now.
Okay, am I good? I can't
hear
anything, so it doesn't matter.
I'm happy to do it. This is fun. Lori was asking me, he's like, are you sure you're going to come for the whole thing? I go, I mean, the bad part about my life was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, when you had all the rain. Yeah, I'll scoot together. We'll pretend like we like each other.
We're a little bit far away.
You've been without power, and I've been out without power. There's some reasons for that.
Exactly. Well, why do you think I'm going to swim Lake Michigan right now?
I don't know how you're doing that, but whatever.
All right, so every so often, Dave Dabberton and I swim Lake Michigan, and it has. I only like to do it in like the second half of August into September, so maybe for about a month and a half.
You have parameters when you swim Lake Michigan?
Well, otherwise it's too cold. Oh. You know what I mean? And so, like right now,
it's still cold. Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan stays cold.
Yeah, it doesn't really
until I don't know, like August 1st or even after. I mean, you don't realize it. If you go to the beach in June and you're like, oh, this is nice. Yeah. Every once in a while, they get a little. I mean, there was a real hot snap for a while. And the lake was actually kind of warm. But for the most part, all that water...
It's cold.
It's always cold. And I went last time I went, and I was like, dude, I'm waiting until it's warm, And so it's not warm yet.
Why don't you like it when it's cold?
It's just, I mean, who likes jumping in water that's 65, 70 degrees?
You ever hear of a cold plunge?
I have heard of it.
That's healthy for you.
But it's cold.
I understand it's cold.
And I don't mind a little cold. I just don't want, like over here at the Y, they keep the water, they say at 80 degrees, but I know it's like 77 or so.
Why don't we go take
and then I go to the
there.
Y in Cherville, and they keep it at 83. So it's like a 6-degree difference, and you notice it when you get in the pool at 4:45 in the morning. It's like, whoa.
You understand you're getting old when you start complaining about that stuff.
Well,
Did they finish renovations at Cherville yet?
I haven't been there in a while. Why are they making major renovations?
I thought they were moving into the Jack's Warehouse because Jack's Warehouse is not there anymore.
They from what I understand.
Yeah, no.
So the pool over here is closed. Otherwise, I would swim there. But Dabberton's like, well, hey, the pool's closed at Hammond. I don't know why, because the building, I don't know, they had to rejuvenate the water because they had, for a while, it was closed and they couldn't circulate the water.
There could have been an environmental accident in that pool.
Something. And so he's like, well, hey, now's a good time to swim the lake. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because here's why. we can't work here. We have just enough internet. We have power, and we've done what we were supposed to do for the last 10 days, which is be on the air and guide people through information. But there's not enough to work here. So I've been working out of Calumet College.
Yeah, I heard that you're working at Calumet College and leaving them here with no air conditioning.
No, we have air conditioning.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You upgraded since I left?
Yeah.
Or what? Okay, good for you.
Yeah, we bought air conditioner. We bought a heater and everything. So, I mean, this was supposed to be temporary. We moved back here from Purdue, and I'm like, where are we going now? And then Starkey built a really nice studio, and Adriana and them made it nice. And now we're just kind of putting some money in. I mean, you notice how everything was painted? I did. Everything's painted everywhere.
Jim, I'm just happy to see light at this point in time.
Exactly.
Like, I can't recognize anything.
So, before I go.
No, you're not leaving. I got to ask you some questions.
Because, first of all,
Dave
can somebody call us so we know
we do got a caller on the line.
All right, can we take that caller so that that's why I came in, to make sure the phones were working. All right.
Because you didn't want to hear me drone on forever, or what?
Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, Jim, and good morning, Dave. I'm going to say something. The phone's working good. I hear you on both ends of this TV. Everything's working good. But let me tell you something I got to say, and I'm going to let it go, and then you go on and everybody. But this is how God works. Yesterday, I was going to get ready to go to Hammond to do that. 250 meals are given away. I'm sitting here. I got my equipment ready to go. And all of a sudden, that's how God works. In Maryville, that church is giving food out to people, and they advertised it. All of a sudden, I got there. I had to fight traffic lights that don't work. I got there. I was filming it. But this is how God works, because when I'm filming, I'm walking down the line of the cars in line, pulling up to get it, and there's this little silver car with a black lady sitting in there, kid in the front seat, two in the back seat, and you could see tears in her eyes. And I go up to her. I talked to a few people. I say, "You okay, ma'am?" She says, "No, I need medications. I don't have money. I'm paying all this to get my food and all this stuff." It's okay. And this is how it works. I hand her my phone. I says, "Here, punch your name and phone number in for me." And I don't know why I said that. She put it in. So I finished my filming, and I went home. I called my primary doctor, and I says, "Here's the situation. This lady needs some medicine. She ain't got money. She's trying to get all the food and everything to keep going. They ain't got no money from Gary. She's and it's going to be 2 weeks." My primary when I called my primary doctor, they got a number where, in case it's emergency, they'll connect you to somebody. My primary doctor took and that lady sent me the name of the prescription that she needs. And my primary doctor put it in my name, so my insurance covers it. It's paid. She's got to go get it this morning whenever Walmart here in Hammond opens up. That's how God works. We need to, today when people call in on this station, just, there's so much problems going on, but let's hear of the good things people have done for others. I mean, we've had a tragic situation in this area, but let's hear some calls of somebody doing something good for somebody else. That's about all I'd like to say. The phones are working good. Jim, your station has been tremendously excellent for doing what you're doing, and all your people that are on that station helping out. I give a big thumbs up to WJOB, the producers, everybody. We're all going to be wore out after this, Well, so that's about all I'd like to say.
That's our first
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the phone call.
Stories. So now that's the first time you get. I'm giving away gift cards to places. I don't know where yet, but for good stories and good people, I'm giving away gift cards. Stone Cold Creamery, I'm giving away gift cards just because I want to hear good, funny stories. And by the way, that's your idea for letting the first caller.
Well, I'm laying in bed, and I'm like, man, I got to go because they texted me last night. So what happened was Comcast was working here, and we're all happy. and then it went out again. So
if you have Comcast, you can create your own hotspot. Look it up on the internet. You can create your own hotspot. It's free, and you can do it off your little computer there. I just found it out last night. I was very excited, and yeah, I'll get you the exact. I'm telling you, it worked because my wife was super happy because she got to catch up on Big Brother that she hasn't seen. She was excited for the first time in 10 days or whatever the hell it was.
It's been a long 10 days. I'll be honest with you guys. And, just sleeping with no air conditioning and
waking up to put fuel in the generator at 4:30 in the morning.
Out there and you got to put your sweats on and you're out there pouring this thing, and then you get a little gas on your sweats, and then your wife's like, "Hey, you better go take a shower." And there you are taking a shower at 4:30 in the morning. And it just gets old. And I didn't realize this, that yes, it's there's no internet at home. I got to go to Cal College every day to work, and I appreciate everybody there, but it's inefficient. And then it's just that in the middle of the night, usually you can, crack a window and so forth. You can't crack a window in my neighborhood because there's so many generators running, and every house has a generator, and they're loud as heck.
I disagree with you. See, I sleep with, it's going to sound weird, with
a teddy bear?
No, I don't.
You have Woody from Toy Story with you?
I got a funny story about teddy bear, which I wish you could stay and stop going swimming. But anyways, so I sleep with a sound machine just because, and I need the noise and the something. So I open my windows. I'm like, this is great. I mean, I'm just hearing it. But for the last couple of days, it hasn't been wonderful with humidity. But last night was fabulous.
Last night was actually pretty good. So we all live in the same area, where we're all at. So my daughter got power, so we went there last night. No internet or TV or anything, but we were able to run her air conditioner. The only problem is their house is total smart house. You go to change the temperature or turn off a light.
Not happening.
You can't do anything in the house. I called them up, they left. And I'm like, hey, I want to turn it down from, you have it at 74 for the kids. I go, but we're here. We want to take it down a little bit.
We like to freeze for a little bit.
We can't. You can't change it unless. So
I ran into a situation that there was a lock that was based on whatever the satellite that they can't change it because of the internet. I go, so the internet's down. You can't open this door. They're like, nope.
So I was always afraid of this at Purdue, Adriana, when we'd get in there and it'd be like a shooter drill or whatever. In the beginning, when they first put those doors in, they're all controlled by central. And in the beginning, I couldn't get out of the room. And they're like, oh, we're just testing it. That won't happen as we go along. And then, this was like 2014 or 2016, I think. And I'd be in there, and one time I had to go to the washroom. I'm like, come on, guys. I mean, open the door.
I need to go.
So finally, they fixed that up. But that's a danger. Think about it. You're in your hotel room. On that 8th floor. And
I lose it then.
Yeah, it's like, I can't get out of my room.
I've been stuck in an elevator for about 2.5 hours.
That's my worst nightmare.
That is the worst nightmare.
So in college, Ball State, chirp, chirp.
Chirp, chirp.
We were in,
It's awful.
Me and my buddy went to work out at Irving Gym. Don't look at your clock because I'm
waiting for Dabberton to text me.
That's fine.
Swimming.
Maybe he's sleeping.
He's on his way to the lake.
The wake.
To the lake.
Oh, to the lake. Anyways, so it's for 2.5 hours. So we get done working out. We go into an elevator with 2 other people from the dorm, and the elevator stops between the 3rd and 4th floor. Yeah, that's him. I know. Tell him just to hold on. And that is a bad feeling to be sitting in there, A, after working out, B, with other people that you sort of kind of know, but you're not really smelling great. And it was snowing. And by the way, the service tech was from Indianapolis, so he had a 45-minute drive to get up to Muncie to get us out. So that's not a fun feeling. Like, I was starting to freak out a little bit. I mean, because elevators are small and there's 5 people in there. And
and they're all breathing.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, when people get on the elevator with me, I'm like, do you really need to get on here?
Hey, that's your worst fear? Adriana?
What, getting stuck in an elevator? That's one of them, yeah.
What's your other one?
All of these centipedes that are around here. I feel like I am in eternal hell if I see one and I'm just like, okay, you're just going to stay over there and I'm going to stay right here so that way I don't run out the door.
My mom used to say that's a sign of a clean house.
Centipedes?
Yeah.
They're weird, though. They're like,
yeah. Hey, so in terms of elevators yesterday, I was on I go work at the 7th floor of the Cal College building for like a week now. So they gotten to know the people. Hey, how's it going, Herbie? But they're fixing the elevators there. So I sit at lunch. They have lunch right next to me, the elevator guys, and they were telling me some horror stories about people getting stuck. You know, at the Board of Trade, when the floor would end, everyone would run to the elevators because all of their offices were all the way up. And it wasn't just like 10 people or 12 people. People would actually run in to get one more person in the elevator, and then you would start going up. And there have been stories where it stopped, and you're just like, what do I do now?
Yeah, it's not fun. I can tell you, it's just like we made the best of it, and we were joking, and we became friends, you know, the people that I didn't really, really know. But
Did you have to go to the bathroom?
No, but I mean,
Did anybody?
No, they didn't say it, but we like, and the bad thing was you could see we were like between the 3rd and 4th, but you could just see like the floor of the 4th floor because we were going up, and you could just see like a crack, and so we would crack the door open. You could just see people, and it's like you're only seeing like 4 inches. It's like, well, I can't fit through there. Like, and you're trying everything to get out, and you're like, oh, come on. And they just, you know, our friends outside were making fun of us. But then they realized that we were starting to freak out. They're like, it'll be okay, guys. Because I think there was 4 or 5 of us in there. And it's like, this is not the great situation that I want to be in right now.
So one time, and just to not freak you out about flying, there was a big
she doesn't
storm.
Like flying either?
You've been flying. She's been flying recently.
Flying is wonderful.
Flying's okay. When
Super
we take off and when we land, you feel I know turbulence is good for the plane.
Yeah.
But when you feel that, I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here and we're good for like 5 minutes, and then I'm like, all right, we're good for the rest of the thing.
So we go to Mexico. I take the kids down there, and then there's a big snowstorm here. So they make us stay like 4 extra days.
Terrible.
It was awful because I had to get back for work, and here I am. And
you're in Mexico, and you're not dealing with snow.
Way down, I think, Huatulco, right next to Guatemala. And you could see the tanks, and they were having some civil unrest. And I'm like, I want my family
Doesn't sound like you're in vacation spot. It looks like you were on a mission or something.
It was supposed to be a 6-night vacation. We were gone for 11 days. So we get back to O'Hare, and we get on the tarmac, and we're sitting in, and then we're pulling into the gate, and the gate's frozen. And they say, we're not going to have another gate for 3 hours.
Bull.
So we just sat there looking at the people on the concourse for... It was awful.
Get me off this plane.
Yes, get me up.
Look, if you've ever...
The only way to do that, and one of the guys was going to do this, he's like, if I light up a cigarette right now, they'll have to call the fire department. I'll go to jail, but you guys will all get off the plane.
I mean, in that situation, like you've been to places and countries where you just they open the door and they have that
Just open the door.
Well, I'll walk down the stairs.
Exactly, but it wasn't set up. But we sat there. I remember it was like 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we got off. And 2 hours and 45 minutes more. We had already been sitting there an hour.
It's bad enough.
When we got off, the TV news people were there. Like, you know, how did it manage and everything?
Leave me
You're
alone.
ready to curse them all out.
Leave me alone.
You know what the biggest problem was? Is that at first, when you're flying from Mexico, first of all, for 5 hours, and, you know, the bathrooms are getting kind of grody by the time you get back, right? And then when you tack another 3 hours and 45 minutes on it, the bathrooms, I mean, you couldn't even go in. There was like, and they couldn't flush anymore because they were filled. And it was just
Fun fact about Dan. Fun fact. Never used the bathroom in all my time on an airplane.
Not even to pee?
Not once.
What's wrong with you?
Well, I evidently have a good bladder, or there's no way I could fit in that thing. I see people go in there. I'm like, how the hell? Like, you can't.
What's the longest flight you've been on?
Well, it was either St. Thomas which is I think was 4 or 5
Yeah,
hours.
That's quite about 4.5, maybe.
All right, or Jamaica, which was just over 4.
Yeah, so
that's not bad.
That's not
All
bad.
right,
But
see,
I mean,
then I'm not a superhero.
well, you go in. You've never had the experience of like being like 32,000 feet, and then you go in there and you take a pee, and then you flush, and then that little window at the bottom of the toilet opens, and it's basically going right outside, man. Or so, I mean, you could just feel the draft of the outside.
So wait a minute.
If you put your arm there, it would get
So
pulled
wait,
through.
if when you go to the bathroom on a plane, it just goes straight outside?
No, it doesn't go straight outside, but on some planes, if you flush and open the thing,
I've never been in one, so I'm trying to get the experience.
There is the draft of outside, and I'm like, I remember
like a dog
one time
sticking
I
your
was
head out the window?
No, it was like a big suction. It'll like pull you through.
Stop it! You're starting to lose your mind here.
I'm not kidding. But anyways, we're just messing around because I'm waiting to see if I'm swimming.
You're not swimming. We're going to talk about
he
this
said,
stuff.
so
Dave, you're not swimming. Stop the nonsense.
There's only one thing you can't swim on.
What, north winds?
Yeah, when it's out of the north.
Absolutely.
And it's a 12-mile-an-hour gust right now. So he's a little bit reluctant, I think.
I would too, because unfortunately, too many people go out there and do stuff.
It's just the way that's
it
the
churns.
undertow is.
Well, and it's also coming straight down the lake, so you've got a lot of motion going on. So, all right,
I'm going to go somewhere and have a cup of coffee.
No, you're not. Well, I'll bring you one. We'll DoorDash one. This is sort of fun. Well, we can talk about fun stuff.
But you got Adriana a drink, but not me.
I didn't know that I would have gotten you a drink. Adriana, do I every time, I think except for once that I've come in here, I've always gotten her a drink.
I know, you're so nice.
So here's the thing.
She's here listening to me.
All right, we're going to take a
babble.
break here, and let's do this.
I want to talk to you.
So I talked
to
to the cow guy, and I do that podcast about grief and tragedy and loss.
That's what was playing as I came in this morning.
I did hear that.
And it's actually really popular because nobody talks. Like if somebody died, nobody they don't talk about it.
That sucks.
And I can't believe the cow guy wants to talk about it. But now I'm like into like how do people heal, and I'm like, wow,
it's a very important thing.
It's a very important thing, and it's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
And and everybody we talk to cries, and of course because they haven't talked. It's like we talked to Whirlpool was very open about the death of Jimmy, and there's been plenty of people, but we try to talk personally between us about, well, here's personal tragedy, here's personal loss, here's personal grief. What about collective tragedy, collective loss, collective grief? How do you heal? How do you come back from that? I think that with the flood of 2008...
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you.
But it was more localized, right? And now I'm talking to Peter Jensen and Ogden Dunes, and he's like, I can't do it. We're going to do something this weekend. And he's like, I can't. Everything's down, and as soon as we get power back. So the same thing in Ogden Dunes is happening in Munster. The same thing in Munster is happening in St. John and Cherville. And the same thing there is happening in Lowell and all.
Chesterton, wherever you want to call it. It's happening there.
So I'm wondering what that is going to do to our psyche as a group, as an area, as Northwest Indiana. I mean, we just keep getting hit. First was localized, Gary, Hammond, East Chicago. I mean, Cary, the flood. And maybe a little bit of Dyer.
Hobart Lake Station, Crown Point got hit with the flood. No one really, it was as widespread as, everyone believes Munster, which, by the way, you got to finish that documentary. Anyways.
I just have the worst PTSD about it every time I sit down.
I understand. I'm going to tell you what.
And that's what I'm saying is I still have that 18 years from now, later.
You're going to have to do one about this.
Exactly. That's what I said. But here's what it's done. Dan, we interviewed 46 people. We have this documentary, and I just haven't been able to tie it up.
Understand.
Because it's just so hard. I'm the narrator, and every time I sit down to do what I'm supposed to read, it's just like, man, I can't do this. But now that the tornadoes have come,
whatever they're called.
Yeah, the wind.
Derecho. Lucy?
The derecho. The derecho has come. Let's call it that. Now I can very easily do the readings and get into the document. And the last few days, I've just like,
well, then thank God.
It's like this trauma has replaced that trauma. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, and I was going to talk about. I was like, what do you think was worse? Because I thought about big events in my life, like 9/11. Okay, 9/11 didn't happen to me directly, but it impacted a lot of people. The flood of 2008, COVID. I don't care what Fauci and all that other stuff. We can talk about that.
People died.
Yeah, and then this. So take those four things, and if I'm missing one that has impacted people. I mean, yeah, you could go with the war that we had in, what was it, 92? All
right, if you have to,
Desert
those
Storm.
are the four. I would. All
right,
say
but just
those are big. And
yeah.
I mean, I still have. Every once in a while I dream about 9/11 and
yes.
where I was.
Well, I mean, it's coming up, really,
yeah.
right?
And then, certainly the flood. We're in it all the time, thinking about it and doing the doc. Certainly COVID. There's kind of a weird political slant to it right now, but people died.
Well, I will tell you, there's always a slant because you hear it even now. Like everyone wants to blame NIPSCO, and look, we could talk about that, which is absolutely insane to blame NIPSCO at this point. And we could talk about the ins and outs. I'm sure there's some faults. I'm sure there's things that could be done better. But to sit there and go, well, I mean, hell, I'm not up and running. Oh, okay, that's right. We just talked about this swath from Hammond to Cedar Lake to Ogden Dunes to Chester to Valpo. Think of how long it takes you to get to Valpo right now. Like if you were to get on the expressway going 65 miles an hour and you took 30 minutes to get to Valpo?
Oh, I remember Alexis was going to go to law school there, and we did downtown versus Valpo. It was 40 minutes.
Let's just say straight line.
Yeah,
right?
it was 40 minutes.
So think of all the trees, power lines, power poles, transformers. I mean, I get it. We're all frustrated. I am. I mean, I want to have power. Trust me, I do. But I'm going, do you know how much stuff it gets impacted by that? And I'm going,
900 poles, he said.
I heard 1,100.
No, he said.
All right, so anyways, and here's where I'm going to tell you my guest is coming up at 8 o'clock. You know Vern Beck?
That sounds familiar.
Well, he spent 48 years at NIPSCO.
Oh, I know who that. That's his wife is.
I didn't know that until last night. Someone told me. Yeah. But I saw someone.
I know Vern.
Someone sent me a video. He spent 48 years in NIPSCO, from distribution to gas to generation, and as opposed to everyone that calls in or thinks or on. By the way, social media is terrible. I wanted to
stay off right now.
I'm going to, because I'm going to throw the phone a couple times when I was reading it, going, well, I heard, or this is what the line. Stop it. I know you want to be self-important and you want to think that you're sounding smart, but you're really not. You're just sounding like an idiot. So what I did was, and I do this a lot, I bring in people that kind of know what they're talking about. And so I saw this video and I reached out to someone I know, my brother, and said, hey, do you know this guy? And I may have met him. I don't recall meeting him, and he goes, yeah. And so he put me in touch with him, and I said, would you like to come on Thursday at 8 and we could talk about it? And he's going to come into the studio at 8 and talk about how this goes. Like when the power goes out, what preemptive measures. Like he was a union guy for the linemen. He gets it. And so
from both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was a little bit of, maybe at times, maybe a pain in the neck for.
Oh, I'm sure he was a huge pain in the butt, but that's
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do. But I think he can also call balls and strikes here and go, like, he's not in it anymore.
So it sounds like as I looked at, finally was able to get on Facebook after 9 days, and I was on it at a little bit yesterday driving around, because we don't have any internet where we are, or you can't even make a phone call.
I'm telling you, try Xfinity.
And
I'm telling you.
You just go sit outside of it?
No, you can do it. you can go on, if you have Xfinity at home, you can go and get a hotspot. I don't know how
I
it
thought you
happens.
said community, like, because I
Oh,
know,
no.
I know people that are going over to Powers and Health and
Hey, look.
sitting outside and using their phone.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm about to go to community because you know where I live. I live a couple blocks away from. I'm about to go to community, just go to their damn cafeteria to
Exactly.
eat food because, like, I mean, the first couple days I'm like, all right, what's open here? Like, there's just like an abyss, and then you don't want to be the first person in the newly opened restaurant. You're like, all right, did they really throw away all their stuff, or is this just old stuff? I will tell you what, there was a place that I got a beef sandwich from, and I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to diss on them. But I'm going to tell you, I was like, oh, man, I love this sandwich. And I went and ate it. I went, it didn't love me about 30 minutes later.
Hey, thanks for doing the show. I'm going to head out.
You're not heading out.
I'm not.
You're not swimming.
I am swimming Lake Michigan at 10 to 7, so I'm leaving.
Oh, you're terrible.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Adriana. Hey, everybody. We just joshed around. He's going to deal with serious issues, but
No, I'm not.
we're holding it together. We're region strong, and just stay
Don't
that
say
way.
that. I hate that stuff. I hate when people say blank strong. It's Dan
What
strong.
else do you hate?
I'm going to tell you what, at 9 days
You
without
hate-
power, I hate a lot of things. So don't.
I'm with you.
You know,
I was complaining because I had worn all my socks after like 5 days. My wife's like, "What? You got 5 pairs of socks?" I go, "I got 5 pairs of little white socks, and
socks are the least of my worries
And I
right now.
wore them all. I'm wearing them again, and she's complaining. She's like, finally, I went and bought some new socks, and because I was actually driving by, and Nordstrom's opened as I was driving by, and I'm like, well, gosh, now I can buy some socks.
That's a sign.
Why don't you go to the laundromat?
No.
Well, I want you to notice I'm not wearing any socks because I went through all of them too. All right, thank you. You're on. I'm not.
It's like
Thank
the
you.
Hunger
Bye.
Games out there. We're going to talk about it after the break. I mean, there's some stuff. I hate a lot of people right now. I'm going to tell you, especially people that don't like to stop at out signals.
Take a break.
I'm going to take a break.
Talk about four-way stops.
4-way stops.
Oh my
Okay, Jim,
gosh.
go swim. Well, hopefully you make it out. We'll go to a break at 6:32. You listen to WGOB, and we will talk about other things that you hate and that I hate.
Our pet peeve hour.
You know what it's going to be
Pet peeve
because I'm going to
hour.
tell you, you're going to get the most honest Dan there is because I'm too tired necessarily to have a filter. So
as long
we're
as you
just,
don't curse, you can talk about whatever.
well,
you
I'm going to try. We have to learn what those words are, and I'm not going to say them. So we'll go to the break, and we'll come back, and we'll talk about things we hate about this situation.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
Plumbers Local 210 is building the future, and we're looking for service plumbers to join our team. Our training center invests nearly $500,000 every year to make sure our members are the best in the industry. From a 5-year apprenticeship and an associate degree at Ivy Tech to ongoing certifications in safety and new technology, our plumbers are trained for excellence. Every member is drug tested and licensed for your safety and peace of mind. When you need plumbing work done, make sure you ask for the license. It's your right to ask.
And welcome back, everyone. It's 6:35, and if you just woke up to fill your generator, you're listening to Dan Repay, and Jim Delo was here. Unfortunately for him, he's going to go. Oops, should I scoot over? He's going to go swim in Lake Michigan, so you could go cheer him on there. I'm sure he'd love to hear that, the encouragement. He says it's going to be relatively safe to go out in Lake Michigan and swim today, so I wish him the best of luck. And if it doesn't work out for him, then, well, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll have to find someone else in the morning to talk to. So before the break, we were talking about...
Well, let's do traffic and weather.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Traffic and weather. Because I was like, we didn't do that last time.
That's okay. Everyone's waking
all
up.
right.
They're getting ready to go to work. Mm-hmm. It's Thursday.
It is, yes. Cannot wait for it to be...
I'm just happy
weekend.
for it to be power on, but that's all right.
There you go. So currently right now at the Sacramento studios, it is 71 degrees. Today we are seeing highs of 80 degrees and lows of 59. Partly sunny and a little less humid with tonight partly cloudy weather. As we move on into the weekend, Friday highs of 80 degrees, lows of 63. Partly sunny and a little humid with a heavy thunderstorm early in the day. On Saturday, highs of 78 degrees, lows of 58 degrees. A thunderstorm around in the PM with clear skies in the nighttime. Sunday, highs of 76 degrees, lows of 56 degrees. Mostly sunny and pleasant, mainly clear weather. And we are seeing mainly clear weather throughout the rest of the week. So that is some good news amongst all the storms happening in the area. Let's take a look at traffic right now. Traffic in the Northwest region. If you'd like to load, that'd be great. So I can tell you that there is no traffic, hopefully. And
you could say just stop at when the light is out at an intersection. You use it as a 4-way stop. And if you wait too long, then you just missed your turn. That's the way I work. Did traffic load for you?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
So currently right now in the Northwest region, traffic is looking pretty good. 65 going north and south is looking good. 80 going east and west is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyway, Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan are looking good. You may have a little bit of traffic on the connector right as you get to the Bishop Ford, but nothing too crazy. Other than that, that is all for your traffic and weather. Let's talk about these 4-way stops because those are scary.
You know what? It just shocks me. I get it when it's like a major intersection, like say Ridge Road and Indianapolis Boulevard, where there's turn lanes and multiple turn lanes, and people may get confused on that. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not that difficult. I mean, we learned it in beginning of driver's ed, or if you took driver's ed, if you didn't take driver's ed, I didn't take driver's ed. My parents taught me how to drive. You just go to the intersection. You stop and then proceed. You don't have to wait everything. And then you have the knuckleheads, because we can't use the other words, that just fly right through because they're more important than you are, because they're going to cause the accident. I mean, hopefully by this time, most intersections are up and running. I know most municipalities are putting generators at the lights so that it basically powers up the light. At least it shows a flashing red. In some cases, I know the railroads were doing that. I ran into some folks during my day job when we're dealing with the river, and we could talk about that, about things that are going on with that aspect. But, they're generating them, and the power is starting to come back on, and the intersections. But just be careful. Don't be on your phone. Don't be more important than the next person. Just stop. And if there's no one else there, at least try to stop. Like do a genuflect and just like keep moving forward. But to blow through it really can cause some trouble. But that's another thing that I hate. Too bad Jim's not here to hear my whole list. But Oh boy. If you got a good story or a funny story or even a sad story, we're in for stories because this is going to be something that will be a demarcation point in our lives here. I mean, it's impacted us all personally. I don't think there's anyone that I know that hasn't had some impact on it, whether their business was out of power, they were out of power. It's impacted so many more people than even the flood. Although the flood was more devastating, you still see people that lost power, then they couldn't get their sump pumps on, or they couldn't do in generators, and they're still giving up. Their whole basement is being lugged up to the street, and that's a terrible thing. And that's the only thing that I have my generator really working for is for my sump pump. Everything else is secondary. The worst experience so far in this whole thing has been, well, there's a lot, but is cleaning. Have you ever cleaned out a refrigerator after it's gone without power for 4 days?
Yeah.
That's something that you
realize how much you overbuy.
100%. I'm glad that you said that because we were pulling all the stuff out, and we flipped the coin as to who was cleaning out the freezer and refrigerator. Tend to have too many condiments. Like, how many salad dressings do you really need? And how many salads do you really eat? Now, I eat a lot of salad, but most people at my house don't, and it was a good opportunity to cleanse that. But you also get I'm thinking of a whole bunch of funny stories. But you got the how about the frozen chicken that's in the freezer? Like, so you freeze it, or the ground beef, and then you have that problem and smell. And everyone waking up right now, probably waking for breakfast, is probably experiencing good fun with that. Another bad experience I had, how about when you do your laundry and then the power goes out and you can't dry it, and it starts to have that fun smell to it? Not a good experience. So just, I don't know what to, I listened initially, I think, to you guys on, who was here Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday? Was it
Tuesday? Was Michelle and.
But it wasn't them, because it would have been after. So I think maybe it was the Monday. Someone.
So then it was Chuck.
I think I was listening to Chuck just briefly when I was coming through, and I know at that point frustrations were starting to hit a little bit of a boil, and there's 300 and some thousand people out without power. And so you could tell that some people have gotten it back on, and then they started feeling like they could solve the world. And I know Jim was very defensive of it. Oh, hello, Lori. How are you doing? I saw Lori last night at Danny Z's, and she made sure that I was going to get up in time for this event, and I was happy to be here. Oh, you're going to sit down? I love it.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
We were talking about things that we hate about this.
I was laughing.
Well,
the four-way stops with the turns.
Please tell me.
Those are scary.
They are scary, but we'll scoot together.
Do we air to the left or to the right?
I think you just have to watch. The turner, the person that's making the turn in that major intersection, has got the problem, because you have to not only watch both left and right, but you got to watch the people coming at you. And I get that. But here's what also is helpful, that you stay off your phone when you're doing this, and you're also kind of, not also eating while you're on the phone. I mean, like, this is a serious thing. Here, you want to hear? I got another complaint. How about the people that decide they want to do a run while there's trees everywhere?
And I'll tell you, I was trying to go down Fran Lynn, and it was closed.
By the way, I live there. I live by there.
By Fran Lynn. Mm-hmm. So I got behind Frank Hammond.
You're in my neighborhood.
The piles of trees were taller than people, taller than you.
Yes.
I was literally inching around every corner looking for people. I can't imagine at night. That is a really scary place to be.
It's a scary. I mean, and if you ever have been to Wicker Park Estates, you want to talk about piles. I have a friend that lives back there. I have a few friends that live back there, but one particularly had 5 trees, 5 like huge trees. I couldn't wrap my arms around them trees.
And they picked them all up?
Well, they had to cut them all. And the pile of just the logs are twice as tall. I mean, they're probably 20 feet tall. And I'm going, how are you going to deal with this? I mean, they'll deal with it, but it's just going to take.
Right. And then somebody alerted me to a term I had never heard before with trees. That you think your tree is okay, but there's sort of like a widowmaker that happens in the trees, and you think your tree is stable, and the next storm, it completely breaks and falls. So who assess whether or not your tree is still healthy and if it has to come down?
Well, I think that's part of the problem that Wicker Park is facing. Have you been by Wicker Park?
Yes.
I mean, Wicker Park has sustained considerable damage, but they're like, well, how do we open this? Because if you look at, and you could look at in your own neighborhood, you could look at some of these treetops where it just cracked, or it cracked considerably, but it's still hanging on up there. You going to go up there? What's going to happen is eventually that is going to dry out, die, and as you said, it's going to come crashing down. So how do you assess it? How do you check it? I mean, I get it, and I'm not here to preach fear and everything, but the reality is there's a liability aspect to that where you go, okay, well, just go walk through the park.
Right. And then
all of a sudden a branch comes flying down that you were
right.
kind of quasi aware of.
And I saw that they had the barricades.
Yes.
At Wicker Park. I saw somebody walking and the barricades were moved.
Yeah. Yeah. There's people that are dumb in this world.
Okay.
So, I mean,
that's my pet peeve. That was a scary thought.
Well, so in my day job, the Little Cal, we do a lot of projects in and around that area. And we had one, and we actually had a meeting at US 41. So if you're familiar with the bus stop used to be, we had a meeting there, and we knew the park was close, and we weren't in the park. We were at the pump station across the way, but we could see the park, and there were people riding their bikes, running, and I'm going, this is the part where I go, like, why do you think you're more important? Why do you think you're better? You can just go through and do whatever you like to do. Like, there's a point there that there's a reason why they told you not to go back there. Like, they felt that it was not safe. But you know darn well that if something happens to that person, they're the first person they're going to run to WGN and go,
the tree came down. They didn't do
Bob was a great person. He loved his bicycle. He just got crushed by a big thing. It's like it's dangerous, and the employees that have to go out there, it's dangerous for them too. But at least they know and can understand that. The general public, like the guy that was just oblivious to and I just, when you get tired, your filter comes off, and so I was just like, good thing, sir, that you got the bike, and don't worry about the trees coming falling down. He looked at me and I'm like,
right,
just like whatever. I don't care.
Pointless.
Like it's funny, but yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. We talked about, and I have a whole bunch of pet peeves, and my wife thinks I'm crazy, and partially true, but what about the whole gas situation? Like early on, like when it first happened, like from Tuesday to Friday, there was you couldn't, if you lived in Munster, I live in Munster, you couldn't find a gas station anywhere. I traveled all the way up to Robertsdale, right by the Horseshoe Casino, because I knew, I was like, well, they have the most pumps that I could imagine.
And
so
was that open?
It was open, and it went fairly well. But I'll tell you, I was at was it not 35th? It was 29th and Burr. There were, lines. That's the street that runs in front of Hard Rock Casino. So the river goes over there. So I go over there, and the line was from Burr Street all the way to Calhoun. I'm going, you're going to run out of gas. Like, why don't you just get on the expressway just to go? Where else was I?
The Myers.
Myers?
Talk about the Myers. You couldn't even drive down 41.
Yep.
I was stuck. I was driving south on 41, and we were going to go to Myers, and we weren't moving. So I finally went in the back roads and went to Myers the other way, and there were
through White Oak Estates.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone the secret passage.
Right. Yeah, there's a secret passage. Though it is kind of tricky because the street's kind of a look-alike.
Well, the teakwood and the teakwood circle and the drive, that could screw you up. If you go down the wrong one, you're into a cul-de-sac, so you better pay
right,
attention.
Just know if it's a circle, don't go down that one. And because when we were out of power, my hotspots wasn't working on my phone, and I wasn't getting any cell service either. So
this is
I
a
had
tragedy.
to go I went to Highland just to let the phone download. When Adrian and I were talking, we were like, there were messages, and all of a sudden, like she's radio silent, I'm radio silent. Then all of a sudden, all the text messages come,
and then
we're
like, hey, can you come? And then it's like 2 hours later, I'm just like, I'm so sorry. If I got this 2 hours later, I would have been there.
Yeah, and so none of us were
understand 100%. I couldn't get any messages.
We were in a complete dead zone.
And my brothers are like, "Why aren't you responding?" And I go, "I didn't get any of your messages."
Right. So then, every so often we'd go out of the subdivision and just
you're driving around in that long traffic. It's supposed to take only 5 minutes. It's taking you 20 minutes because of the four-way stops.
The four-way stop, and then the people that don't know how to four-way stop, those people.
Right. Well, and driving down Calumet with no power at 10 o'clock at night is the scariest thing. It'd be different if we had a full moon.
Oh, wow.
We had, no moonlight. And
they said, "No, this one, y'all are out on your own."
It was very scary.
It's sort of fun in a way. Like, I went for a walk when there was no power. I'm like, this is neat. Like, I had my little flashlight going.
Okay, good.
But it's like,
with the reflective vest on.
No, I didn't get that far. I was just like walking around. I'm like, this is pretty wild, actually. And like last night when I came in back from Danny Z's plug, it was weird because like half of my neighborhood is on and half of it is off. So you could tell the people that are showing off, like the people that got power, like they got everything on. They're like Christmas lights, and I'm like, you know what? I really want to go over there and punch you right now. Right. But I just like seriously just put some air conditioning. That would be wonderful. But it's, you know what? It's just funny. Like you could tell funny stories like this. You could also tell pet peeve stories. I mean, laundry.
But overall, you have some minor inconveniences. You know that the light's coming. You're like, somebody has to be first, somebody has to be last, but you're being patient.
Oh, yeah. There are people that are not.
Oh, right. The people who were, when they were in line at the Meijer, and they were like, people are gas hoarding. They're filling up 4 cans of gas. And I said, well, maybe they said for their neighborhood, give me all your gas cans.
I did that.
And I will fill up all your gas cans. And I'm not hoarding, but I'm giving to all the people in my neighborhood so they could fill up their generator.
I did it for 2 family members and 2 neighbors. I had 5 cans. And that's what I did. And you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't think there was a problem with enough.
You weren't hoarding. You were sharing.
I didn't think that there was enough. I mean, I thought there was always going to be enough fuel. And that wasn't my problem. It was just a matter of when I got there and you spend all the time, and then the next person did it, and like my neighbor was feeding off of my generator.
Right, everybody was sharing.
And he's like, hey, can I give you a gallon? Yeah, sure, that'd be great. Give me a gallon or 2 gallons, whatever the heck it was. But yeah, it was just, to me, I mean, those are the good stories, the fun stories, and you it's not the greatest. I get it. And
so are you, do you have you don't have a generator?
I do have a generator, but I don't have a whole house generator. However, I will be contacting
who is all getting right? Who all is going to get a whole house generator after this?
I'm going to guess the price has gone up. You think?
So along with all the electricians busy with all the data centers and everything else that's electric that we're building with our infrastructure, now everybody needs.
Well, how about the weatherheads that all got snapped off of the houses where the power pole would pull down and then the weatherhead. So that weatherhead it's your responsibility and you can't have power without it. And oh, by the way, who are you going to call to do it? I mean, going back to my day job was all the contractors, and this is a kudos to them, like all the contractors that I'm aware of, at least their local ones, they've all participated. They've all helped. All their loaders, and it's hard for me to find contractors. I mean, they'll do work for us, but it's like, all right, so I'm in a
you're
battle.
Not critical. You're not in critical.
Yeah,
you're not critical mission.
Like we know that by the way, we know that there's trees in your neighborhood, by the way, along Hart's Ditch that are in the river, right by the park.
Right.
And I go, all right. Then they're like, well, what are you going to do about it? I go, well, we're going to wait till things settle down here a little bit, and then we'll start fishing them out. But we know that there's no less than 100 trees in the river that we have to get to. So 2 things, we need to make sure that the current is a little bit less so it's less dangerous. But 2, I mean, you want to find a tree cutting service anytime soon?
Right.
Who's going to do that? Like we talked about Wicker Park. So they identify certain limbs that are up on the very top.
But it's easier right now to close the park.
Yes.
They're not mission critical, and they
Correct.
understand that.
Yeah.
They could work off-site and do everything they need to do. Though, what about all the weddings and things?
Oh, boy.
Did those get canceled?
Yeah, they
Did they?
would have to. Had to have.
Or you have to have a very strict boundary as to where you're going to be. What about the
security.
concerts and?
Yeah, they canceled.
they
They canceled the concerts. There was only 2 left, so it was the end of the season for that.
Darn it!
So yeah, I know.
Echoes of Pompeii, was it?
That was the last one, right?
Of course it is.
And the Def Leppard, Adrenaline.
I wanted to go see that one.
Those 2.
These are the concerts at Wicker Park. So, and I know there's others out there, but there's a lot of things. I mean, it's a huge disruption in people. Like everyone goes, well, did you expect? People from around. I have friends in downstate Indianapolis. Are like, well, did you expect it? I go, well, they said severe storms, but I don't think anyone, when they woke up on Tuesday morning, thought, boy, these storms are going to be horrendous.
No, we were working, and we were like, okay, I think it should be okay. But when I Adriana, did you get a text message that said imminent danger?
Yes,
Yes,
I did.
we were doing of notoriety, and we were getting the Amber Alerts, everybody's phone, and it wasn't like the normal one that you would usually hear that's on the TV. It was different this time, and it sounded like a phone ringing, not like storm alerts. So that was kind of interesting. So if you go back to that one, you hear it just throughout the show, and we're like, okay, yeah, we should probably leave. Walk outside, you see one side of Indianapolis Boulevard just dark. You see it the other side not so dark. So we're just like, we're gonna get out of here before it ends. And then a few hours later, all of the of notoriety people were all texting each other like, "Are you guys okay? Are you guys okay?" Because the moment we left, that's when it started.
Honestly, I am surprised that more people were not killed. With all the trees that came down, none of them hit. I mean, they hit houses.
What about the one house in your neighborhood that the tree went through the second floor?
Yes. No one.
I had to stop and just, and their whole second floor is all open.
Obliterated. My neighbor, their tree, by the way, I wasn't disappointed that it came down, honestly, because they have an oak tree, and the oak trees lose their leaves really, really late.
Oh.
So it'd always be a pain in my butt to rake or blow it, and it's like December. But so I'm not really upset about that, but I am so upset about the fact that it hit their house and it went through their back of their house. And it's like, good God. It's like, so yeah, I was on a conference call with our attorney, and we're on the 4th floor where our office is by the Pepsi plant on Camet Avenue. And we could see it to the west, and I'm looking out, and we're looking over there. We're like, that doesn't look good. And then we're getting all these alerts. We're like, that really doesn't look good. And then turned to blue to green to went black.
So did you hear anything? Because I could hear the sound of like the freight train.
The wind, we could hear the wind. I don't know if it was freight train. We could hear things popping, which were probably the transformers. We could see some transformers in the distance, sort of whatever they were doing, arcing. I'm not an electrician, but you could see that there was some discomfort going on in the electrical grid when we were down. So we went to the stairwell, and some of the people in my complex were looking out the window, and they're like, we can't get the door back open. I go, why are you opening the door? But whatever. And then when we got out, I couldn't believe it. I said, that's pretty. I mean, our suite is the only one with backup generation because of our position with the little Cal. So we had to have it. So all of our, other suite mates or whatever you call it, were like, why are you have power? And we had to explain. And then, but you could see like the People's Bank building roof had
damage,
serious damage. I know those Pizza Hut buildings over there off of Camet. We know that Pepsi had problems because there were people up on the roof trying to, and they had operations, I think, shut down for some time. But yeah, I had never seen it. Like, it was 11 o'clock in the morning,
right,
and it was as black
right.
as
it was as dark as
1 in the morning.
Adriana, we have any phone? We'll take a break.
We got to take
a
it's
break.
7 o'clock.
Yes, it is 7 a.m. You are listening to the morning show with Dan
Thank you for
Repay
reminding us.
on WJOB 12:30 a.m. 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. We do got callers. We know you guys are on the line. We're just having fun story time and saying how we hate four-way stops.
Yep.
That is the pet peeve of the day.
We got more.
Yep, but we are going to take a break, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back after we pay some bills.
Need clean energy without the junk? I'm Jim Deedlow. I used to live on burgers, football, basketball, baseball. Now I'm gluten-free and more into biking, golf, and yoga. But I still need energy. That's why I love Paradise, developed by Emily D. Edwards right here in Cherville. My favorite is Paradise Packs Strawberry with gluten-free pretzels. Find it soon at Strachan Van Til or at spreadparadise.com.
Free summer music is still rocking at Fox Point. Our Wednesday night concert series brings Trippin' Billy's, The 1985, Elton Jeff and the Honky Cats, Mike and Joe, and Dick Diamond and the Dusters. Friday Night Lights brings you Gold Dust Dreams and One of These Nights on August 21st, and Mexico and El Corazon on September 4th. Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is just minutes from I-8094, and parking is free. Visit foxpoint.org for our full schedule. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
Get ready for Wings Rock fun and prizes at Wing and Roll. Friday, September 25th from 5 to 9 at Bulldog Park Pavilion in Crown Point. Sample wings from Northwest Indiana's top chefs. Vote for the People's Choice. Enjoy live music from Backstory NWI and win incredible prizes. Tickets are $75 with tables of 8 for $575. Every dollar helps support Mental Health America of Northwest Indiana. Get your tickets now at mha.rallyup.com/WR 2026.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
Good morning, everyone. You are listening to the morning show with Dan Repay on WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. We are going to take a look at traffic and weather as we are talking about all of the different things that are happening this week, all the storms. It's been a real scooter to the shin kind of week. So
if you haven't had that experience, you should know that experience.
Yep, scooter to the shin, kind of like you expect something to taste real good. You put it in your mouth, you're like, uh-oh, this
Not
isn't
great.
what it is. Nope.
Yeah.
And then it just ruins the rest of
Drinking
your
your
day.
Coke and it's iced tea.
Drinking your Coke and it's flat.
How about expecting a Pepsi on ice and you get a Dr. Pepper flat?
Oh.
I got that this week. I was like, wow, that's fun.
I'm sure a lot of restaurants had a lot of significant challenges.
Oh my goodness!
Because even Danny Z's, their kitchen was really backed up. They're like,
oh yep,
here's some popcorn, and please don't put your order in yet. And we're like, we gotcha.
It's okay. Oh my goodness, our bar. Let me just say,
our bar's good stuff.
Our bar was great because we had to do work, and I was like, I can't edit anything, I can't send anything in. And I go into our bar with my laptop. I'm like, do you guys have Wi-Fi? Because everywhere else, no matter what coffee shop you go to, no matter what kind of public Wi-Fi you go to, it was terrible because it's so slow because everybody's using the Wi-Fi. They're like, oh, yeah, here you go. So I've been at our bar, and my friends are like, this is your new office because I would go to our bar, eat something, do work, and then I go home, and my friend's like, hey, what you doing? I still don't got power. I'm like, you want to go to our bar?
It's time to ask for a sponsor.
Hey, I was going to say, if they're not a sponsor, they should be because I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I sat there, and they were like giving me food. They're like, we're sorry it takes so long. I go, don't worry, I don't have air. I'm good. You take as long as you want.
Right. Yep, and then it was so funny seeing the regulars at our bar, and then they're just like, we haven't seen you around. I'm like, I don't come here, but I'm also a regular. Shout out to our bar.
I heard they never lost power, so a lot of people were going.
It was so busy, but you know what? The staff, they were great. But
boy, Jim's about to have a heart attack right now.
Yes, we're going to talk about traffic and weather and NISCO numbers, and we're going to get to our callers. Yep. We're going to do our jobs. It's going to be great. We won't be a scooter to his ankle. So currently right now at the Sacramento studios, it is 71 degrees. Today we're seeing highs of 80 degrees and lows of 59 degrees. Partly sunny, pleasant, less humid. And tonight, partly cloudy weather. That low of 59 degrees. Yes, for those of you who are without power, open the windows.
Of course, it's going to be our stuff's going to come out today, which I wouldn't be upset about.
Yeah.
Right.
Friday, we were looking at highs of 80 degrees, lows of 63, partly sunny and humid with a heavy thunderstorm early in the day. Saturday, highs of 78 degrees, lows of 58 degrees. Thunderstorm around in the PM with clear skies for the rest of the night. Sunday, highs of 76 degrees, lows of 56. Mostly sunny and pleasant, mainly clear weather. So with these lower temperatures, that will definitely help open the windows. And then also for people that I know we were saying earlier that it's like people are very upset with NIPSCO. Hey, you can turn off your air conditioning if you have power with these 50 and 60 degree temperatures.
I love it.
Taking a look at traffic in the region, traffic is looking pretty good. 65 going north and south is looking pretty good. 80 going east and west is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyway, Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan are all coming along pretty well. How are those NIPSCO numbers looking?
Well, the NIPSCO numbers here, look, this is important. 63,573. Only that many service providers or people don't have power. So that's down from the
63,000.
Just 63,000 customers. So that could, if you figure 2 people per household, only just over 120,000 people without that are without power. But if you're in Dyer and East Chicago, today is your day. This is what they say. This will be up. I'm being half facetious.
Okay, Bob, you want to call in and give us any updates?
Bob or East Chicago, and then Friday, Griffith, Hobart, Maryville. That's what the anticipated time. If you're in Munster like me, it's Monday. And if you're in Gary or Portage, by the way, Gary got slammed. Portage got slammed. I was out in both those communities. Lord, they're anticipated Tuesday, which is good. And look, you just got to do what you got to do. Hopefully they overperform and overperform or whatever it is.
Overestimate.
And overestimate. We get it earlier. But anyways, I know we got callers because Jim is telling me I got to take callers, and I really don't want to because I sort of like talking to you guys. But I like talking to the radio folks or the listeners. So give us a call and tell us good stories, bad stories, or anything you want to complain about.
All right, Adriana.
We're on. Who's our caller? Who do we got?
MX.
MX, how are you doing, MX? Haven't talked to you in a while.
Good. Anything over a half hour on hold, you got to buy me a week of breakfast.
Okay.
I'll just take the money. Just give me the $100, okay?
I'll give you $100.
Here's a good story. Okay, this whole shower thing, I didn't shower and this and that. Remember that went on for years?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank my uncle, who was a paratrooper in World War II. And he told me in first grade, we're going to go up north, to the UP, Lake Gogebic in All-Terrain Falls, and you're going to learn what it is to rough it. So I said, well, I was in first grade, and my brothers, they always went. So I was asking my brothers, what's this rough it stuff? Okay? So I found out what rough it means. I'm a paratrooper from World War II.
And what does it mean?
We had a tent. We slept next to the Lake Gogebic. There was no showers. There was no water. And for 2 weeks, we didn't have electric. We ate the fish that we caught, or we would starve. And if you wanted a shower, you go in the lake. So I just want to thank you to my uncle. And every time he went to Pigeon River, right before he got drafted to World War II, he was in the CC camps. And that's the Conservation Corps by, I think it was President Roosevelt, to build the toll road. And every time we went fishing, and we still had to rough it, and I was like 25. When we went fishing the Pigeon River for trout, because he liked to fish for trout, he says, I put those trees in, and the Conservation Corps, and he says, I slept right there for weeks and months without a shower. And then when, at the very end, we went to Crooked Creek in Valpo, and he said, Perry, I'm getting cold. And we had found out that after he passed, his waders were leaking, and had a little drop. The water was coming in. He only said at one time, I'm getting a little cold. I just want to thank him that I learned how to rough it, and didn't have to shower. And everybody would say, oh, MX didn't shower. No, this is about roughing it. And you know what? This should be a part of a high school class where you go out and rough it, man. And quit raising these sissies that we got.
Stop
that
it.
Everybody's got to have a trophy.
MX, stop it, man. That doesn't even sound like a fun uncle. Everyone's got a fun uncle. He is not the fun uncle.
I'm telling you what. And then at night, you like that story. Who's the young lady next to you?
Lori?
Lori?
Yeah.
Lori, listen to this. So after we rough it, I'm telling you,
I don't want to hear about all your vacations, MX. You got to cut to the chase.
No,
we got other callers
listen.
here.
No, this is the same story, and I'm gonna let you go.
All right.
After we roughed it, he would take us in the van, and we go watch the bears eat out of the garbage dump, and that garbage dump wasn't far for us. So, all you sissies out there, learn how to rough it, will you? Because this didn't bother me a bit.
All right.
I'll talk to you
Thanks,
later.
MX. I'll tell my 85-year-old neighbor that she needs that's living alone to rough it. You know what? Mrs. Jimenez, it's on you. You better start sucking it up. I mean, jeez. Go ahead. I love it. I mean, that's not a fun uncle, MX, but that's a pretty funny story. Next caller. Who do you got?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm a little hoarse here this morning. I think you recognize the voice, though. I just got back in town. I was just in case if people don't know who I am, because my voice is a little hoarse.
It's Matlock.
Well, if your voice is if your voice is hoarse, you probably shouldn't call into a talk show. You probably should rest it, right?
Oh, okay.
Don't you want to rest your voice?
That's okay. No, hold on. I have a story to tell this morning.
Okay.
I just got back in town. I left town for 4 or 5 days with no power. Okay. So I said I went downstate Illinois where my son lived and stayed down there a while. And I was not able to see what was going on locally here. But first of all, I want to thank WJLB Radio. My understanding that they let WLTH come in and do, because they had some problems at WLTH Radio. Did. So I want to thank Jed for allowing that to happen, because we are one community. We are. I have some criticism of the way this thing has been handled by NIPSCO. I have to say that, because really, if they had trimmed these trees, because most time it used to be when I first came to Gary, they came through the alleys and trimmed the trees because they was protecting that side, so they didn't have to go through this mega thing having these people coming in from all across America, I guess. And I'm going to be attending the city council meeting next Tuesday because I had a councilman, and I call his name. His name is Mr. Wiseton. He's councilman at large. And he came by my house. I told him, I said, look, he said, what's going on? I say, man, he said, what you're saying, I'm going to want you to come to that city council meeting, and I want you to say what it is. That, yes, we appreciate these people coming from clean across the nation to do what has to be done. And matter of fact, when I got home, the first thing I did, I went and bought about a couple $100 worth of chicken and stuff from Strack and Van Til and some of the other things. And my backyard, I call it Matlock's backyard entertainment thing, very nice backyard. And they came in, I say, now look here, I'm not trying to bribe you or anything like that because you all here to do a job. But I just think right now that the job that you're doing is tremendous. However, for some reason, my former resident over in the Miller area, where I have a couple of rental houses, has not been touched. Glen Ryan, we call it Glen Ryan. Some people would call that Matlock's little community. But anyway, so I say, well, now what's going on? So that became an issue. And then when I heard about some guy shot up a NIPSCO truck, which was terrible, I happen to believe that somebody know who that person was. And if you got a friend who do some stuff like that, usually thieves will talk among themselves, right? They'll say, hey, I did this. I say, you need to turn them in. And Matlock is a part of giving $500 thing in terms of whoever wants to add to that.
I'll turn in Jim for $500 to tell it it's him. So
yeah,
we've got two phone calls. So what you got? You're going to go to the council meeting, and we're going to talk to councilmen, and we're upset with NIPSCO about not trimming.
To the council meeting, and right now there's certain areas in Gary, Indiana, has not even been touched, and Glen Ryan is a big part of Miller that has not been touched in there. And I'm going out there today to hopefully assist them. But when the council would say, I'm here with my saw, chainsaw, and helping, I say, well, you don't have to do that. I say, man, you one of a kind. I've never seen a politician come out there and Mr. Wiseton, he came there and he was there, and I appreciate it. So I'm starting this morning to go in and get them something else. I'm just going to do my part.
There you go. That's all we can do. We can do our part.
We're going to deal with NIPSCO. Yeah, absolutely. But like that, and we thank all those people who come across America. But you need to start trimming these trees around this line.
Well, we'll talk about trimming trees. I have a guest coming on with who's worked for NIPSCO for 48 years and has some experience. So we're going to talk about trimming trees and what that looks like. You go get some hot tea and rest that voice for that council meeting. Thank you. We got another caller now. Everyone's starting to wake up. They have no alarm, no electricity. So who's the next caller we got? 717 here on WJOB.
Man, I drove through Gary the other day. If they're telling them they're going to get power, I'll get that power done by Tuesday. It would be a miracle. I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, that's just my comments. I think we'll find out next Tuesday, but I think someone's blowing some major smoke. If they get that fixed by Tuesday, it'd be a miracle. There's
a lot of trees down, at least that I saw in Gary. There's also a lot of trees down in, what is that? Darn it, what's the subdivision across from Highland?
Everywhere.
I mean, it's literally everywhere. Yeah. Like, if people would just
it's everywhere.
Drive out of your little neighborhood and look around for a little bit and go, there are people that are worse than you. And we're going to talk to Vern Beck, and he's going to sort of explain how circuits work and not what ChatGPT said or what Reddit said about this lineman said that they're cutting costs. Like, maybe they are. Who knows? But I think this gentleman will hopefully enlighten us, and he will. Like I said, I watched a video, and he really had a great presentation, and hopefully he can describe it all to everyone. And if you have questions on how things work, I'm sure he'd be happy to at least sort of give you an idea of how that does work. So To the 63,000 customers, we're still holding out hope. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not going to go to a council meeting and yell. There are certainly things that could be done better.
No.
They're in everything that you do, every emergency.
Every aspect of life.
You could do something better.
You could look back and said you should. Yep, you could have done something better. So,
I am not perfect.
I'm with you, Dan. So have a good one.
I appreciate the phone call. It is where we don't have any more phone calls. Oh, we ran out of phone calls. That's fine. I'm okay with that. We can just talk about things, but we should take a break according to the great producer over there, just so we can get some things in, traffic, advertisement, and if you want to call to pay a compliment or complain, we're here for you. We're therapy this morning.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
The best just got better. Tech Credit Union is proud to celebrate being recognized with Best of the Region, Best CEO, and Best Banker. To celebrate, we're offering 3 special CD offers with rates up to 4.5% APY for a limited time. Visit techcu.org or stop by your nearest Tech Credit Union branch or call 800-276-8324 to learn more. Tech Credit Union, the better option for people and communities we serve. Member NCUA. Minimum deposit required. Offer subject to change. Visit techcu.org for complete details.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad. Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention. Phones.
I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
And welcome back, everyone. It is 7:23 here at WJOB. You're listening to us talk about funny stories and complaints and gripes and also positive things about. We learned from MX that we are how to get an uncle that will teach us to rough it a little bit and we can handle these times a little bit better. Unfortunately, I don't think that uncle had medication that needed to be filled or they have possibly parents or children with disabilities. I mean, those are the folks. I mean, I am able and capable of dealing with this. Thankfully, I don't have any health issues. I have money that I can go out to eat, but I understand that, some people don't. I mean, they
don't.
They just it isn't an option. It's something that they normally cook at home. Now they have no generator, and now the refrigerator's toast. So I don't know. You can call the township office. They may have places. If you can get on the internet, there are places that are serving food still. Salvation Army, depending on what community you're at. So I mean, look out for your neighbors. Look out for your friends. On a personal note, if anyone's listening, I really have a dilemma here, a personal dilemma. I was supposed to buy lunch for folks at noon today for 100 people. So I'm looking for suggestions or a restaurant that can make enough food for 100 or so people at noon today. So I'm either going to go with a compilation of different places, or if you are aware, or if you're a business owner that wants, if they want to do this, I am paying, so it's not a big deal. I will give you my credit card, not over the air. But, give me a call. I'll give my cell phone. Everyone else has a darn cell phone. It's 712-3188. Whoever texts me, calls me, I do need to buy lunch. The first person I had fell through. And now I'm in a panic mode. So otherwise, they're going to get McDonald's or Burger King, or we're just going to get a bunch of Chick-fil-A. Who's a sponsor here that could Strachan Van Til?
Strachan Van Til.
So Strachan Van Til. Anyone that's Strachan Van Til, I'm going to buy a bunch of chicken. So we'll do chicken, potato salad. What else is good over there? I'm not doing fish. So if someone from Strachan Van Til, give me a call. Or call the station, or call someone, or maybe I'll call you guys at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
but
maybe
anyways,
they could do some beef sandwiches.
Well, there you go. So I'm buying it. We're good. We got money. But if you, a bad transition here, but if you're not able to have lunch, there are plenty of faith-based groups that are providing that, and thank God for them. No pun intended again. But there are people that are having a more difficult time, and I feel bad for them. It's an inconvenience, certainly for me, but I don't have any children. I don't have anybody with a disability. I have no one with a health issue. I am not living by myself. By the way, I couldn't imagine living by myself with no power. Like, who do you talk to? Like, do you start talking to yourself? I mean, and if that's the case for you, you could feel free to call us. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, we'll talk to you.
I mean, you could talk to MX's roughing it uncle. So, anyways, 845-1100. Oh, we have. Oh, what?
Three calls on the line.
Well, who's the first restaurant that wants my business? Go ahead, caller. First caller. Name your business.
Oh, hold on. One second.
No.
1 second, caller.
Ooh, who's going to be the lucky winner?
We got music playing on the same computer.
That's
just
okay.
to kind of keep it there. Good morning, caller. Now
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Am I on the air?
Yes,
you are on the air, so you can't cuss.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, okay. I guess that you heard me.
I can hear you.
What about Big Frank's? I bet Big Frank.
All right. Well, if
Can you hear me?
I don't, if Big Frank's available, if someone could get a hold of him, I would love to pay Big Frank the thing. So I don't have Big Frank's number, so I'd be happy to. I buy my pierogies from Big Frank's. I buy my sausage from Frank's.
Yep. So do I.
So give him a call and tell him to call me.
Okay, but the real reason that I called was we appreciate all these contractors that came up from Georgia, and these New Mexico guys that came from all over the place, and these tree guys and everything like this. Who's writing them a check? Because I'm sure that these people can't wait 60 or 90 days out, and then, you know, the contractors that are going on these people's yards and taking trees off their houses.
Yep.
You know, State Farm is going to, no, that's your neighbor's tree. No, that's your tree. Oh, this tree was rotted, so we're not paying because you should have known because you didn't take it down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So everybody needs to be paid. So who's writing a check?
Well, who's writing the? Thank you for the call. We're going to hang up just so I can, because there's a little bit of background thing. Who's writing the check is, look, what I've realized in this mass destruction with as far as the devastation is there's like an industry that just follows it. Like you know, like when there's a hailstorm, you like the people come running in. Well, I mean, my mother-in-law had 3 trees come down, and these folks came in from Minnesota. There's companies from Minnesota and there's Texas, and they just follow disasters around. And it's not like they're ambulance chasing because, and I talked to some of them.
And then, but who writes the check?
The insurance company. So what happens is they do the work. They quote you a price, and they say, all right, it's going to be $6,000. You file a claim with State Farm adjuster. Now, the only problem is going to be is if the adjuster and the price have a little disagreement as to what the cost is of what it is. But this is what these folks work off of is the insurance money, because, you know, they're betting on the fact that they're going to get a check eventually in 45 days or 60 days, just like these municipalities that are paying for the cleanup, and they're going to seek reimbursement from FEMA. I mean, that's 180 days out, and that's wishful thinking, but 188 days, you're out that cash, but you still have the problem to deal with. I mean, we haven't even gotten into that aspect of things with Public Works. You know, I mean, the Public Works has to cut grass, and they got to do other stuff and empty garbage cans. All they've been working on for the last 9 days is simply getting rid of trees. So the answer to the question is it's the insurance companies that are going to do it. As far as damage to your yard, good luck. You're going to have to probably do that on your own unless somehow your adjuster agrees with that. But I haven't even started the insurance aspect of things. I think my chimney got hit by a big old branch from my neighbor's tree that I didn't care for. And I don't know if there's damage because necessarily I'm not going on top of my roof. At 50 some years old, I don't feel like that's going to be a good idea. I didn't rough it back in the day. So we got more callers. Go ahead. I'm still looking for places. I'm getting text messages now, which is lovely. Thank you.
Did yours download? Mine didn't download.
What's that? The contact? I didn't get the contact, no, but I'm getting other text messages from people. So I appreciate the advice. I'm looking to feed about 100 people at noon today. So go ahead, caller.
Mr. Repay, where's that NISA organization? Give me that bottle of water and that COVID mask. We created this agency. We're ready for any emergency that happens in the region. We've got a big airport hangar. Let's get this photo op. Where are all those people right now? All those big shots with the embroidered polos, and where are they?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not affiliated with NISA. But I can tell you I'm affiliated in this is like a whole thing all to itself as to how to deal with emergencies. Each community, and I know that's not what you're asking for because I'm pretty sure you're angry with NISA, and I don't know. I don't affiliate myself with it. I mean, I'm not affiliated with it. But anyways, each community has their own emergency operations center. It's called EOC. Most items and most directives get directed through there, and then that way they can control, say you need a generator over here, you need more tree equipment over there. They run it through there.
We got NISA to take charge in the region over all those municipalities. Where are they?
I don't know.
What were they doing? We're doing these tabletop exercises in case we get hit by a nuke.
Well, I will tell you. I will tell you.
Total sense to me.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And to answer your question, tabletop exercises are important. We do them at the river where we throw scenarios out, like if it's going to flood in Munster, it's going to flood in Marshalltown, Gary. What's the reaction? How to do it? How to deal with it? They are valuable. I don't think anyone could necessarily do a tabletop exercise to say that I'm going to lose 300,000 customers or tree devastation. I mean, you're going to be cleaning up trees till Christmas time in this area, at least shredding them. But I understand your point, and honestly, when I sat at my house, I'm thinking, how can things get better? And I think that's the key to this all. And it's always starts with communication. And the reason why we have our show on WJOB, and we've had our show for the last 16 years on WJOB every month, even though people don't really want to talk about the river, it's because we found at the beginning it was a lack of communication. The group before us didn't communicate with the public. They didn't know who was in charge or what to do. And so we have that program, and that program allows the public to be a part of it. It builds familiarity with the public, and then they know who to call when there's problems. And I will tell you that I gave up my cell phone. You know, for little Cal, where to go. We can only speak for the little Cal and how we're going to help. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure an after-action situation is going to be provided by the folks at NIPSCO. NIPSCO is going to look at where they failed and where they did well and where they could have done better. But I still think when you're dealing with this many people, with this many trees, I don't think you could necessarily plan for that. So
there we go. All right, we're going to take next caller.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Dan, it's Coos. NIFSA disbanded, so people are looking for an organization that no longer exists. So, and here's the thing, and I said this earlier, and this is to the last caller and all the others. So let's just say there was a NIFSA. This is one of the reasons why it disbanded, as well as one region and all these other ones. All right. So what happens if you don't listen to them?
Well,
there's no mechanism that they have in the region. Let's just say the town of Munster, NISA comes in and says, we want you to do this, 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 and this. And the town of Munster or the town of Highland said they don't want to do it. There's no mechanism. That's one of the things that everyone wants their autonomy, which they have 99% of the time. They elect their officials. They stay within their town. They do their thing. They really tell everyone else to stay out of their business. And that works for people most of the time. And then when you get into something like this where it's much bigger and you need a regional approach, we're just not very good at it. Nor do we ever really want to be good at a regional approach.
I kind of agree.
Simple answer for that. And
I kind of agree with you, Coos, because I mean the reality is, from a municipal standpoint, we do help each other. Like there is some coordination, you know, with folks. Like
mutual
unofficially,
aid agreements and things of that sort.
Yeah, unofficially they help each other, but you're gonna, you know, when it becomes a situation like it is, or it was, or it still is, where, you know, some people think they're not getting the love from the utility as the other company or the other community, and it's just a matter of, all right, then I got a bunch of politicians that are getting yelled at because of something that they don't have their control. So what do? They got to do? They got to show that they're angry, or they got to show that they got to take a picture that they're actually picking up a branch. Yes.
And the same people that are calling in right now that are saying, where's NISA, would be calling in if there was an organization that came in and said, this is what we're going to do, and they didn't like it. They'd say, who do you think you are telling us what to do? So some of these people you're just never going to make happy.
But
I do want to give some information. If you don't mind, I want to give a little information that's very helpful for people. You know, I'm in the home improvement business and the storm business, and I am not looking for any more work. We took 300 calls.
Come on,
I'm just
Dave.
Letting people know about insurance. I'm talking about insurance. You asked some people asked who's paying for this. So there's many different levels of who's paying. And you know this from when you were at the county and when you were a town council, city councilman. If the area gets put into a declaration, and I think that I'm not up to speed on whether that happened or not.
It has.
And the FEMA comes in, then normally, and this was explained to me by someone from Braun's office, 75% will get paid for by the federal government, 25% by the state. Now that's the cities that are doing their thing, like the extra trucks you see, all the people that they're bringing in contractors to actually just pick all the trees up and get them out of here and take them to a central location. So that'll be taken care of by that. But this is very important for people, because I've been running into this well before this storm, because this is about our fourth or fifth storm this year. everybody thinks they're going to be made whole with their insurance company. Here's what's happening with the individual tree companies that are coming from all over. There's been a mix of how they're getting paid. Some people are just flat out paying them cash and keeping a receipt and handing it to their insurance company. They don't know if they're going to be reimbursed because every policy is a little different. Some policies have a ceiling on how much tree coverage you have. Some policies have a 1% assessed value for wind and hail. Some have 1% for overall. So every policy is a little bit different, and what people are going to notice after the storm is they're all going to be calling their agent and double-checking the coverage that they have. But I will make this prediction, that a large percentage of individuals in Northwest Indiana are going to be very unhappy with the coverage that they get from their insurance company. Not all. I've seen there's somewhere the traditional one is $1,000 deductible. The insurance company comes in, they bring an adjuster, they write you an estimate. It's standardized pricing. They use Xactimate, and contractors like us will accept that, and you move forward after you pay your deductible. That's going to be a very small percentage of people. Most people are going to have to come out of their own pocket, and I've seen that with the storm. So I would suggest that everyone get their policy out, and if they can't understand it, call your agent and make sure you understand what coverage you have, because you may be spending money that you think you have that's not coming in. So it is kind of complicated, and that's what you pay your agent for, to explain those things. And I don't want to see people get hurt. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get hurt in this.
And thanks.
They're just not going to get made whole.
And thanks, Dave. And by the way, don't worry. I have about 4 locations that you need to look at when you have time. And I know you're very busy, but you've taken care of my roof before, so I got you. I'm not gonna. I'll call you on the.
I want to make one announcement.
Yeah.
I'm actually going with Greg Switkovich, and I'm going with Greg Switkovich and Big Dan today. And it's this is how important it is. We're going to go up to University of Chicago, and we're going to go make a visit to Puerto Rican Frankie, who on the air, some time ago told people that he has cancer. He just had a surgery up there, and he's almost 90 years old. So we're going to go up there and see him and pray for the best. But with everything going on, say a prayer for him. He's going through a lot, and then I'll come back in here. It is still kind of a madhouse out there. But
yep.
I think it's important to say to everyone, all those public works guys, all the NIPSCO guys, all the people that came in, all the tree guys, everyone that's out there, they're working their tail off, man.
Yep.
I mean, this is an enormous amount of work, and I know people are frustrated. I see it every day. I'm going into people's houses that have no power, and they have trees laying on top of their house. I understand. It's affecting everyone, and people must understand that a lot of those people that are coming into work every day, they have trees laying on their personal houses as well. So a little bit of understanding, maybe give them a water or just talk to them a little bit. We'll all get through this. We're almost there.
Yep.
Probably about another week before we get power. But I think we should focus on that, and we could finger point later. That's what we're really, really good at, especially on the morning show here. There's a lot of finger pointers. Not a lot of solutions, though, by the way.
Well, we're going to
hopefully get... clear the lines, why don't you say this, Dan? Why don't you do this? You can only call in if you have a solution, not a bitch. I guarantee you half the people will call.
Well, all righty.
They have no solution.
I understand. Well, you made Adriana move. Thank you. Tell Puerto Rican Frankie I said hello. Best of luck, and all the other folks that you're driving up there with. We got 3 other calls coming in.
Oh man,
Adriana, what you got?
Oh,
anyone live
stress.
Read? Well, by the way,
a live read, but stress.
Here's important news. Big Frank's said I can take care of you, so I am going to pick up the food. I don't know what he's going to make, but he's just going to make for just over 100 people. We're going to have food, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't care. I'm not eating it. I'm giving it to someone.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Everything at Big Frank's is good. So thank you, Big Frank. And stand over there.
And Jill,
sorry. A little tired. I don't remember everything. So
and it's the unfiltered hour.
It's really unfiltered. Like, I'm really nervous. When I came out here, I'm really nervous. I'm sleep deprived, and I really don't know what I'm going to say. And I didn't want to cuss, and so
you're doing a great job.
Dave did that for me. So, anyways,
we do have a live after his last we have a live read.
Okay.
This is the benefit night to support Joe Cruzan. Is that how we say his name? Cruzan.
Yeah.
Joe Cruzan Jr. sponsorship opportunities. So this is an event that you can. Did they ever say what kind of event it is? Is it a gala? Is it?
I think it's just a informal.
Like
fundraiser.
Right. What do we? There's auctions.
They got stuff.
Get together, food, drink.
So we're just gonna kind of read through this just real quick. So for this fundraiser event, there are different sponsorship tiers. Club sponsor of $100 to $199. Each club sponsor logo will be featured on our social media posts. Club sponsors will also be announced at the event. Star sponsors are $200 to $499. Each star sponsor logo will be featured at the bar, on the auction tables, and on our social media event posts. Star sponsors will also be announced at the event. Live sponsors, you can get that for $500 to $999. Live sponsors include 2 event tickets. Each live sponsor logo will be featured at a guest table, at the bar, on the auction tables, and at the social media event posts, and they will also be announced at the event. Lastly, Eagle sponsors of $1,000 or more. Eagle sponsors will be the main sponsor of this event. Your sponsor will include 4 event tickets. Your logo will appear on 2 large banners in the event space, also at the guest tables, bar, auction tables, and social media, and announced throughout the event. This event is on August 22nd from 6 to 10 p.m. Tickets are $20. This is going to be hosted at St. Michael's, the Archangel Church, that is on Willems Street in Cherville. So you can scan here. We're going to just show that for anybody who is watching on YouTube.
There you go.
You can scan. Whoop, there. Cameras are funny. There we go. Scan right there if you want to be part of the event. And the event organizer is Todd Schmidt. That you can email him at
Isn't he in the lake?
Schmidt. Yeah, isn't he in the lake?
Wait, just turn. I'm gonna mute him.
Oh, you're talking. I see.
No,
yes.
Jim, just get done with your swimming. Stop listening.
So
we don't
you
care.
can call them at 219-798-8733. Again, this is the benefit night to support. Can you guys say his name? Because
Cruzan.
Joe Cruzan.
Cruzan.
East Chicago, right? East Chicago guy.
Yes.
Yep,
yes.
We got the flyer right here. So that is our live read of the day. And you guys want to continue with the
calls? We have any calls? We have calls,
do.
and I think our guest is here.
Our guest is out here.
So we're gonna do that, and I'm ordering on the phone while you were doing your live read with Stan. Thank you very much, Stan, at Big Frank Sausage. Great, help me out. So everyone else with suggestions, you're out of luck. They lost. He won. Next caller, who do you got? 747.
So sorry for the long live read. We just want to make sure we got all the information.
You know what?
out.
He just needs to stop.
Okay, so
he and I wouldn't work well together.
We're going to take callers that have not called in.
Well, sure.
First,
I don't care whoever.
And then the callers that have called in.
I made someone mad that they called back again?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, guys?
Great. How are you?
Oh, okay. Now the power's on.
Oh,
now,
congratulations.
You guys are talking about insurance. Yeah. You guys are talking about insurance earlier. I'll tell you what. I had a claim earlier this year. Somebody crashed in our garage. Do not close with the insurance company until you've got every loss you've got accounted for. Make sure you've got every single loss. Because once you close, you're SOL. They won't give you one more dime. I had an issue here where the contractor showed up to make repairs and they couldn't get a permit because the city never billed us for they shored up our garage to make sure it didn't collapse the morning it happened and never submitted a bill to us. We didn't get the bill till after we closed with the insurance. And when we turned it over to the insurance, they told us, pound sand, we closed with you, not one more dime.
Wow.
In my case, it was close to $1,000. And our neighbors, same thing happened to them. We were all pretty much in the same boat because we all got hit. But anyway, make sure that you have every loss accounted for because they will not give you one more dime. These are big major companies. This particular ones, I think their initials are SF. But make sure that you have every loss. Because these insurance companies now, they're getting to the point to where if they can weasel out of giving you one more dime, they're going to do it. You know, that's why you see those call the dog commercials on TV. Because it's probably best to go through a third party like a lawyer, because these people, they know how to collect that premium, but when it comes to actually making a payout to you, they will turn. All of a sudden, your good friends are no longer your good friends. So just make sure you do that.
Appreciate the advice. Appreciate the advice. Thank you very much on the insurance front.
Learn the hard way.
Yeah, I understand. We all do. That's what the life lesson there. By the way, I'm going to make Lori my new co-host.
Yep.
She doesn't realize this. Do we have another caller?
We do have another caller.
And hopefully it's not Jim that's calling and asking about it's too long of a read. Who's the next caller? Go ahead. 749 on WJOB. You have a funny story, comment, or complaint. Good morning.
Am I on?
You're on, so don't cuss.
Oh, good morning. Well, no. I'm not going to talk about the storm. There's plenty of those calls. I just got a question for you. Maybe you guys got a good answer, but welcome. First of all, welcome to Thursday, everybody.
Yeah,
isn't that
we
great?
made it.
Almost to the weekend. Yeah. So which one of the two is worse? Driving... but the reason why I say this is because there was this person in front of me, and it's like they weren't driving right. Stop, go, and other cars wait. Is it worse driving while somebody's texting, or is it worse driving when a woman is putting her makeup on at the same time? That's all I wanted to say.
I gotta say, if she is able to do that,
she was putting her makeup on and she couldn't drive. Come on, really?
If she is able to do that and not crash, you got some skill, because. No.
Yeah.
Texting to me is
That's
the
amazing.
absolute horrible worst thing. You could tell when someone's texting and driving, like they're weaving, either that or they're drinking. But then you pull up to the next side of them and they're like just looking down, like there's nothing that important, like nothing, like just it's crazy.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's my pet peeve is texting.
Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate
you guys take care. You guys are doing a great job.
Well, we're trying to keep people entertained,
Great job.
uplifted, talk to us, make it all right. It's fine. We have no more callers. And I'm going to tell you, so someone texted me and asked for the condition of the river. I will tell you this. So my day job is Little Calumet River Basin Commission. We have a lot of trees in the river. So when, all the trees that have, fallen in people's yards, we know that they have fallen in the river as well. We're trying to address them in places where we can, where the current isn't as swift as. I mean, it's because we have to send people into the river, and so that complicates matters. So we were in some areas. We were in some areas in Gary. We know we're going to have to get into Hart's Ditch, which is a very difficult place to get into normally. We're going to have a floating excavator, which we normally have, but he's currently busy doing work with tree removal. We understand that may cause some concern to people. If we find a blockage that is accumulated more and more, we will have to just go do it and address the problem. We're not trying to make people flood, but we also aren't trying to create problems where they don't need to be created. So we know there's trees down. We're addressing them. I think we're starting tomorrow. And we're going to work until we get them done. But I will tell you, there are trees. I mean, we're familiar. If you're not listening from the area, Hart's Ditch, major place goes all the way to Plum Creek, all the way into Dyer, and there's a lot of trees down. There's a lot of trees down in Wicker Park, which is Hart's Ditch. There's a lot of trees down off of Grant Street, Martin Luther King, in Marshalltown off of Central. So we have to get to all these. What we felt was that it was more important for the residents to get their stuff taken care of and don't take away the resources from the residents and their material that's causing them trouble. We understand it's a double-edged sword because we don't want them to flood either, but we will address it. And so, but as far as the river is concerned, the river's going down. We still monitor it, and I will tell you, it got a little bit dicey there for a little bit with respect to the rain and the power outage. All of our pump stations were out. We had to get backup generators for them. So it was a big undertaking and a little bit nerve-wracking. But at the end of the day, the river is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's functioning. We have a couple pump stations we still need to address, but There's nothing at this point that anyone needs to be concerned about with the river. We're watching it. You can watch it as well. We go on our website and see all the monitors. We are all in a good place right now. So a couple more dry days and you won't even think about it, and you'll be worrying about something else in your life. So,
Adriana, do we have a call?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, Dan, it's Lou from Lou Shots.
I'm sorry, who?
Well, it's Lou from Lou Shots.
Hey, Lou, how are you doing?
With the Eagles?
Oh, hey, bad news about them, huh?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
no.
You don't know about the bad news?
No, I don't.
Well,
did other nests come down?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but unfortunately, the new Eagles nest got blown over.
Is that the one that's further? It was further back from the original one.
Yep, the one that's between.
The one I don't the one I don't photograph anymore.
Yeah, well, it's there was one closer to Lake Etta, and this one is closer to Martin Luther King. Unfortunately, there was the new Eagles nest, and you're aware of that, right? I mean, it was a much bigger nest, and and it's no longer there, unfortunately.
I knew about the one. Is that the one they built behind the one I used to take pictures of?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where that's at, but I can tell you this one's right by Martin Luther King, and it's no longer there. The two adult eagles were just sitting up in the tree, so the nest is gone.
Well, the reason I'm calling, man, I called in. I tuned in the show kind of late. I don't know if he talked about Conservation Mike at all, man. I thought maybe he wanted to say something about him instead of the storm crap, you know.
Yeah, no, we could talk about anything, and I do. We could talk about Conservation Mike. I know they did a piece on him. I think on Monday. Conservation Mike. I had him on the actually radio program a couple months ago. He was a gentleman that taught me a lot about just the natural aspect of the river. Did a lot of cleanups. Was the leader along with you and Frank and. Who is it? Pat Renwick and the preacher, all sort of come together on it.
I learned all that stuff from Region Bass Buzz, man. That's how I got to know Conservation Mike and Pat, and then I met you. And about the Eagles, man, they're hanging out at the rookery now. There's a dead tree out there. You can find them out there now. Usually a loner, and I sent you something. Earlier in the spring, a picture that I had on that Top Hat Island behind Homestead.
Yep.
And I thought maybe they were building a nest in there. I went in there, man, the first time ever. I hiked around. I didn't see no nest, but they're still doing good. So yeah, I always think of Conservation Mike every time I take my dog along the river, man. He's the guy who sent me on that 10-year journey of photographing that nest, man. It was a big part of my life for a long time.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately he passed away, and I was told that he wasn't doing so well, so I fortunately had the opportunity to call him a couple days before he passed away, and that was not a fun phone call, but it was good to talk to him, and we were able to just joke a little bit about some things, and unfortunately, like I said, he passed away, but his legacy and his, I guess, tutelage for us will be everlasting. So it was a good. He had a great impact on the system and on a lot of us here. So unfortunate, but he was a good dude. I appreciate the phone call.
They rebuild and hey. One last thing, if they rebuild and you got some inside information, I'm going to be retiring soon. So if there's a good place to take photos, let me know.
I'll give you the inside scoop, but they are looking for a new home, unfortunately. So thank you very much, Lou.
You. Yeah, they'll get it. Yep.
We got another caller. Do you got a live read?
No, I had.
Did it work now?
Yep.
Well,
She's sharing the password. So these phones are really cool when you're connected, and I try to log on to the Wi-Fi. She sees I'm logging on, so she's got to give me permission.
It was so funny because I'm writing this email because I'm asking somebody like, hey, I need this done. And I'm writing the email and it went away. I was like, wait, no, here's the
Well, I'm glad that you guys have this inside conversation while I'm talking and with real business here. You guys are sharing passwords. So it's 7:58. I know
we have no more calls.
We do not have any calls. We
This will be a
got a
good time to
guest.
take a guess.
We're going to wipe it clean. We're going to bring in our guest, and we're going to talk about utilities and how it all works and why you lost power and how you're going to get back on. And if they got bad news, it's bad news. If it's good news, and you can we take questions during? Yeah, we could. We could take calls, but we're gonna let him discuss everything, and we're gonna have some great questions.
Stops?
Yeah, we can ask. I'm sure he has opinions on four-way stops as well. So, anyways, it's 7:59. Hopefully, you're on your way to work. It's Thursday. If you don't have an alarm clock or you don't have power, that's what it is. It's Thursday, the 20th, and we'll be back after this break.
I'm Pastor Eric Boone, pastor of the Tree of Life Church here in the great city of Gary, Indiana. The Notre Dame Credit Union. Go beyond and above to make sure that we are in position to make that greater impact. Listen, this credit union is one of a kind, and I'm looking forward to the future because I know that we will continue to do greater things together, and I'm forever grateful for a credit union like this.
Visit NotreDameFCU.com.
Plumbers Local 210 is building the future, and we're looking for service plumbers to join our team. Our training center invests nearly $500,000 every year to make sure our members are the best in the industry. From a 5-year apprenticeship and an associate degree at Ivy Tech to ongoing certifications in safety and new technology, our plumbers are trained for excellence. Every member is drug tested and licensed for your safety and peace of mind. When you need plumbing work done, make sure you ask for the license. It's your right to ask.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad. Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention. Phones.
I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad. Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention. Phones.
I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Labor's District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Enjoy the taste of summer at the Farmers Market at Fox Point. Every Tuesday from 9 to 1, shop locally grown fresh produce, delicious baked goods, artisanal treats, and local culinary creations. Just minutes from I-8094, the Farmers Market at Fox Point in Lansing, Illinois is a perfect spot to hear acoustic musicians, stretch with morning yoga, and enjoy community fun throughout the season. To see all vendors and entertainment, visit foxpoint.org. That's point with an E, foxpoint.org.
And welcome back, everyone. Dan Repay here, 807 at WJOB. And we have our special guest, Mr. Vern Beck, who worked for NIPSCO. And here's how this all came out. I was scrolling Facebook and getting angry with people online and, on the What's Up Hammond, Munster, What's Wrong with Highland, all these different subgroups. And they all pretend that they kind of know what they're doing or how NIPSCO should fix this faster, and then you hear all those stories. And so I came across on one of the reels on Facebook, and I don't know how the heck, maybe it was fate, that I got to listen to your video, and I watched it, and I was like, this is a great explanation. I go, this is someone that has experience, that has been there, done that, and also still probably has people there out in the field for NIPSCO. And I reached out to my brother Mike and I go, hey, do you know this guy? And he goes, matter of fact, I do. So they linked us up on a text message. Was that yesterday? And I asked him, hey, could you come in and kind of explain and maybe put to rest some, I don't know if it's falsehoods or theories or whatever it is. And so Welcome to the radio program here. That is, I am not a professional radio person, for the record, and you'll experience that now. But I mean, what I want you to do is sort of give your background, what you've done, what you're doing now. If you're doing anything, are you just retired?
I'm retired.
Oh, good for you. And then I will ask some questions. If the callers have questions, I will, take those calls, and then we'll dispel any stories, or at least prove that what is true. So with that, Vern, you want to introduce yourself, sort of give a background, and then just as long as you talk into the mic and Adriana doesn't yell at me, we're going to be good.
Vern Beck. I hired into NIPSCO back in July of 1978. So it was a little over 48 years ago, and worked as a laborer, digging ditches and putting in grounding mats. And first job was at Green Acres substation behind Albany's. That was the very first day I showed up. So I was working substations back in 1978. Went to Tower Road, put in grounding mats, and then they sent us down. I worked on a gas main transmission line, digging bell holes for welders and stuff. Bit on the line side, was in line side for a little while. Had a physical altercation with a supervisor, and punched him and got kicked out of line side.
Well, that happens.
So then I went and became a construction electrician. Went through a 4-year apprentice program where we built substations. So I was in most of the substations in this area back in the late 70s and early 80s. And then in 1987, we showed up for work one day, and guy opened the newspaper and goes, "Hey, did you know that NIPSCO's laying off 500 people?" And we're like, we thought he was lying. He's joking around, and he goes, "No, look." And he showed us, and we called the construction headquarters, and they said, "Yeah, 16 of you journeyman electrician are going to be gone." So we had to go what they call a bump center and figure out who you had more seniority on, and I was very last day. I finally got a job available that was down at Schaefer Power Plant in the flue gas desulfurization, and it was a nasty job. Cleaned the air before it left, and I was there for 17 years. And then one of my friends decided he wanted to be a griever, and he wanted me to be a griever.
And that's a union griever, right?
Yes.
Right. Just for the general public.
He wanted me to be his assistant, and I kept arguing, "No, I'll take care of all the grievances in my department." And he kept insisting, "You got to be my assistant griever." And I coached track at Boone Grove, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to give that up because I knew whatever I get into it feet first all the way. And finally, he talked me into it. He goes, "It's only going to be 3 years," and then you go back.
And how many years is it ended up being?
23 years straight.
That's almost 3.
Yeah. So, because once I did the 3 years, and he's like, "You need to be financial secretary, understand the finances of this." So I went on and became the financial secretary. Then he goes, I'm going to run for president of the union, and you need to be vice president. And then one day he came in my office, he goes, "Well, I'm going to run one more time for president, then you're going to be president." And I had some real choice words. I was like, "You push me."
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that on the radio.
Way beyond what I ever wanted to do. And he goes, "No, you're going to be president." And I ended up being the longest serving president with 3 terms. It is very difficult to be a union leader for NIPSCO because you're like dealing with 3 different companies at the same time.
Right.
You got a gas division, electric division, and generation. So you're constantly throughout the day, plus medical issues, worker comp issues.
And do you still get to become? I mean, are you still like doing normal work as NIPSCO, or is that your full-time position as just president? I mean, you're still an employee of NIPSCO, right?
I was.
And you're representing all the other folks.
The union president, since when I was union president, we had 1,600 members spread out across the state. Usually the president ends up working full-time. The union pays their base wage.
Right.
Union can't pay overtime. They can't pay for alcohol. So you put a lot of free hours in as a union president.
So you've seen a lot of things. You've represented a lot of things. You've done a lot of things. You said you worked in electric. You've learned in gas, and then your first or second job was Schaefer Generating. So you've got the whole sort of network of what happens here as far as a utility is concerned, and I guess that's sort of what struck me and I enjoyed the most about your your video. And if you can't, I mean, I think you can put it on Facebook and you just look up Vern Beck and he'll pop up. It's a more a visually appeasing thing than just talking about it. But could you sort of explain, as you did without your visual piece, how and what happens in the steps of how power? So we've got Schaefer generating station. Is there any other generating station locally that we get power from here in Northwest?
City.
Okay, we got Michigan City and we got Schaefer.
And then you got all the solar fields now.
Okay.
But those are
slightly damaged.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage out there from earlier storms.
Right.
But those are also weather you
dependent.
Can sit there and watch on the graphs that they have over at the Valpo Central Stores where cloud cover comes in. It's not as reliable as coal or gas. Turbines.
And it doesn't. NIPSCO doesn't get into the wind turbines that we see down 65, or are they on that grid too?
Wind farms,
okay,
yes.
So let's just talk about what happened last Tuesday. From your perspective, from our perspective, a storm comes through, and I'm assuming NIPSCO, and you're not speaking for NIPSCO, and I'm not speaking for NIPSCO. We're just talking as two individuals. The storm comes in. They're aware their storm comes in. They generally probably have certain people on staff, and it was during the day, so I'm assuming that they were fully loaded with people probably doing work, connecting service to new developments or changing poles that have been damaged or whatever it is. That storm hits. What happens in the world of your life? Say you're a lineman. Where do you get? How do you get notified? What happens? What does that look like as far as emergency response to it?
That's one of our things we say, that every storm is different.
Right. Well, we'll pretend this one, because we were talking off air. You had been talking to a lineman that still works out there. And that person has been doing, they do, and we're going to talk about, mutual aid and stuff like that. But they've done mutual aid and they've done a lot of stuff up here in Northwest Indiana. And you said something like their largest storm that they recall was just over 100,000 customers out.
Yes.
And this storm, by accounts of what we see online, was 300,000+ houses or customers. I don't know what the proper.
As far as we know, it's probably 3 times larger than our largest we've ever known. So and we've talked on the break.
Sure.
This lineman was saying that he's been down on mutual aid. Mutual aid means you help out each other utility. If, say, they have a hurricane down in Florida, they'll call their utilities and say, hey, we need your mutual aid. He's been down in Florida. He's been in New Jersey just to work on these hurricanes. And he said when he's driving around and looking in these areas, he goes, this looks like what he would see during a hurricane, not like a normal tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Tornado might take, a few trees, bust off a lot of branches, stuff like that, not topple over huge, large trees that have been there for decades. He goes, you see that in the hurricane areas, but not here. And he goes, this looks like what he'd see in a hurricane area. Somewhere
I've seen that they sort of compared it to a category 1-2 hurricane with the winds and the force of the winds and the toppling over and the signatures of that type of storm. So and what I was struck with, and I try to, everyone's frustrated. I'm sure the folks at NIPSCO, the linemen, are tired. They've been going at this. It is dangerous work. But the fact is, I try to explain, I go, this stretches from, let's just say, their service territory from the state line to, Valpo and beyond. And it's just, there's, I saw some, and I'll look it up once I put my cheaters on and be able to, and to look. But and you'll be able to explain this a little bit better, but the fact that, hold on, getting old is a terrible thing, by the way. He's 5 transmission towers. What is a transmission tower? So NIPSCO is reporting 5 transmissions. Are those the big, tall metal ones that stick out, 200 feet up into the air, maybe even higher? Are those?
No, it's usually 80 to 100 feet.
Okay.
The microwave tower, the highest tower we have around here, the highest tower I ever climbed as a construction electrician, and I had to climb 300 feet, and that's at Babcock Sub over there by South Haven.
So the 5 transmission towers are like the towers would, if you're familiar with this area, would be the ones next to, that run down Fisher Street, that run from Ballyboos up to the north where they're the tall metal ones that are way up in. I mean, there's not many. I mean, there's a lot of them, but there's not many places where they run. So.
Yeah, the transmission ones are the ones that carry your high voltage, and you got to keep the wires up high because it's high voltage. It's usually 345,000.
They're the ones that the helicopters fly over to make sure that they're all working in good order. So what would it take in your experience to repair those? So if 5 transmission towers are damaged, is that a big deal? I mean, is that something that's normal in the world of linemen and NIPSCO repair?
Back in the about 2011, 12, in that area, we had towers down on Highway 2 and 65.
Okay.
That went down. And then a few years later, the same towers went down because that's like a wind tunnel area. So they had to change the style went to a steel pole type style instead of the lattice style because it was just twisting them. And the problem is the product comes out of Schaefer or Michigan City or any other utility because we're all tied in across. We're part of MISO, Independent System Operator, where we're tied together, and so they can redirect. But if, like the town of DeMont was taken out when one of the towers went down because they couldn't this was years ago, they couldn't redirect and tie in.
There wasn't an alternate source of power to work around, so you have to work through that same circuit. That's the only circuit you're going to fix.
So it's like you'd say if coming out of the Schaefer station, and one of the most interesting things to me is going through the training for an operator is it comes out of the power plant around 22,000 volts, but then it goes into a transformer that steps it up to 345,000 volts, which to me is just incredible. But these are massive transformers. But it's got to have enough voltage to push that out to go to like behind Albany's where you have Greenacre sub or St. John sub or Munster sub or Lake George or Flint Lake over in Valpo or Sheffield sub. Those are the major Roxanna along the toll road.
Yeah, for selfish reasons, where's the Munster sub? I want to go see where that's at because I gotta find out if they're working so my power's not working.
Well, I talked to a substation guy last night, and he said that almost all the subs now they got them tied in. So those part, they finally got, because if you take out a main, like a 60, so the main, you come out of the power plants, 345,000 volts or 138,000.
Mm-hmm.
That'll go to a big sub. And then from the big subs, those transformers step it down to 69,000 or 34,000. Those go out to the smaller subdivision, into the subs in
the territories?
Yeah, in the towns. And then they step it down to 12,500, which goes to your neighborhood. And then you'll see either a pad mount transformer on the ground or a little tub up on the pole,
like the trash can up in the air.
Yeah, it steps it down to 120 volts to 240 volts.
So your person says all the substations are functioning. Now this is the nitty gritty part of getting into the neighborhoods, and which is why it's a lot of handwork, probably a lot of tree work that needs to work. So in your video. But as you're also explaining, if the generation is working, which we think Schaefer and Michigan City and all that is working, and then you go to the subs or to the substations, and now we have been informed those are working. But if one of them doesn't work, everything else down the line is pretty much toast, right? I mean, you can't do anything unless you can redirect, and in some cases you can't redirect because the other substations
If you don't have the sub energized, you can work on the lines, change out all the poles, put all new wires, but it's still not going to give you anything until you get that sub to give you the juice you need.
So the good news for everyone, the unofficial good news, is that seems like all the substations are functioning, energized, repaired, been fixed, and now it's just getting into the different aspects of your different tubs. So I call them the trash cans, but you can, by the way, you can hear when those things go off. Those are explosive. I can't imagine when a substation goes down. That's got to be even a little bit more exciting.
Oh, you can see some pretty good fireballs.
We saw. I don't know if you were listening, but I have a 4th floor office, and when the storm was coming through, we saw some serious energy coming up, and we knew it was something exciting. And by the way, if you have a question, 845-1100. I don't know what everyone's looking. Everyone's more just in enthralled with our deep hitting conversation here. So how difficult, I mean, look, people talk about vegetation and, the vegetation should have been removed, should have been fixed. I mean, I could tell you from experience with what I do on a daily basis, there's restrictions on when you could remove vegetation. In Indiana, I mean, you may not know this, but there's the Indiana bat, so you can't cut trees in any significant amount during any month besides September to April. Like, you just can't do it. So we sign permission slips all the time for NIPSCO to go in. They have their subcontractors that go on there and cut it. Generally, I mean, if you were like my mom, hated it when NIPSCO came through her backyard because the subcontractors they're not landscapers. They got a job to do. They're to cut the trees off of it, and they then end up with a V or a Y, and the tree looks a little awkward, and people hate it. Do you think vegetation removal, in your opinion, would have helped in this situation as far as maintaining power?
It would help a little bit, but when you got 60-foot trees coming down, they may not even be anywhere near that wire, but when you got a 60-foot or 70-foot tree coming down and it's falling, it's taking and hitting that wire, it's going to snap those poles. All the vegetation clearing you can do is not going to be helpful. And I've never seen, because I've been doing clear, I was over yesterday morning with the BP guys, the USW 7-1. Since they're locked out, they're going around.
Which is fine. We could talk about that too. That's perfectly fine. I think we got a sign up here.
They're helping out their community because the community is helping them right now. And so Eric Schultz had called me to ask me a different question, and we were talking about it, and I said, hey, I'll come help. So I could not believe the trees, because Sunday I was with Senator Rodney Pohl. We were working together, riding in my truck, and seeing the trees over in Portage. It's just unbelievable, the damage, the devastation is. And to me, it's sad because my wife and I, we work in our yard all the time, and to see these old oak trees that were majestic trees that are now going along highways or along 6 over by Ridge Road, and seeing those nice homes with those big oak trees that are just now done, and it's like the aesthetic value of those is just gone. And
it's Wicker Park Estates in that's the best example I can use. It's probably the only one that I have seen besides just north of Hill and Vale. But those were the old trees. I had a friend that had several oak trees, large oak trees. I mean, they got to be 100 years old, and there's nothing. I mean, his house looks nothing like it does now. And that was, I'm glad that you brought up your opinion on it. Is like, people think, well, vegetation, and you got everyone saying, I go, yeah, I get it. And there probably could always be a better way to do things. But when I'm seeing trees that are in the parkway, in my neighborhood, in the parkway, and they're tipped over and they hit the house that's 100 feet away, I don't know what you can't have vegetation. You certainly can't be Tree City, USA if you're going to do that. And I think that's why and I'm not here to minimize, but when you have the St. John's and the Dyers, you have the older parts of those communities where Castlewood Estates is, but you also have the newer places, so they don't have the large trees. But they're probably, as you said, they're a part of the circuit. And the circuit is, if some tree that was feeding it knocks it over, then they get impacted. And that's something that's just something you've done this, you've worked it. I've never worked an outage. I just follow it on the little online app that says, hey, look, there's 300,000 people that are out of power. And I just keep thinking to myself, that's not 300,000. I mean, that's businesses. What would you think the consistency of businesses to residential is?
Yeah,
I mean,
I have no idea.
I'm looking for a guess. 60-40 resident to, I'm just trying to think of how many people were impacted.
Well, I think there are more residents than that.
You think so?
Oh yeah, because some of the trees I saw yesterday completely flipped the sidewalk over. Mm-hmm. And it's like these. I don't know. It's frustrating to me because we've had to deal with the vegetation issue. Because some people were showing on videos of, look at this easement. How overgrown it is. Well, our linemen have been dealing with that for decades.
Yeah.
We would have to, our linemen would drag back a pole with a cart because the customers, they'll put fences on the easements, they'll put sheds on the easements, And then we try to get back there. There's no way we're going to be able to drive a truck because someone was saying, well, you ought to be able to drive a truck. Well, do you want the expense of paying to have someone, because those are muddy many times after a storm, you'd have to put plywood or the stuff down to keep them from sinking in the mud, but you can't get back to some because there's so many sheds and fences back there.
And you see it all the time. So you did gas too, and we're going to get. So when you have to put, there's 1,100 poles that supposedly, and that's my vocabulary. I'm sure they're called something official. Are they not? They're poles then. So 1,100 poles. What's the process to put a pole back in? I mean, it's not just. I'm assuming you have to do locates to make sure people don't realize that.
Yes, and that's because some people say, well, the lineman is out there and he's sitting in his truck.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about that.
We're not allowed to dig without locates because you don't know what's in that ground. It could be a water system. It could be a fiber optics, which is real expensive to replace. Gas or electric, and you don't want to drive through a gas main and cause an explosion.
So let's talk about that. When I've seen it online, and everyone says, and you've sort of touched on it. It's like, well, I see people in their trucks and they're not doing anything. Why are they doing it? I mean, I would imagine the reason why is they could be taking a break because this is dangerous work. You're dealing with electric and a lot of electric. You're also probably waiting possibly for vegetation to be removed. You may be also looking for locates for the poles, meaning all the different utilities. I think people forget about all the utilities that are underground in their lives that they don't pay attention to. But you can't just go drop. I don't even know how deep do they set that pole.
It's about 4 foot.
So 4 foot.
Yeah, it's got to be enough to hold that pole up. It's you got traffic control. Sometimes you're waiting for traffic control to show up, and in a scenario like this, it's difficult to schedule work on a normal day because. I could get into a whole.
No, go do it. I want you.
To me, the frustration is before a union person can touch anything, they got to go through all kinds of training. Like you take a lineman, if you want to be a lineman, you bid on the job. You got to first go to a week of training to see if you can climb. Then, if you've already done that, then okay, now you're a group that you've proven you can climb. Now you got to go through a 4 to 6 week school of just line school before you can even get on a crew. Where the schedulers. They bring them in, and they don't have much training, and they're going, here you go. And they do the best they can. But that's a weak spot that we've been complaining about for years. You need to train these schedulers, the planners, have a training system along with the engineers, because the engineers need to be trained better than they are.
And so when the power goes out, they have to, NIPSCO sends out, or utility, we'll just say utility, sends out engineers to make sure what is the problem. I mean, you have enough experience, and probably the linemen all have experience. They could probably self-diagnose it, but they can't touch it until the engineer says, yeah, do this, right? I mean, they put in a work order that does it. There's a process. It's not just...
The lineman's waiting for... We can't just go do anything on our own. We have to wait for a supervisor to say, here's your job. And that supervisor's waiting on the engineer or the scheduler or planner to give him the work. And so in a devastation area like this where you got thousands and thousands of people, it's like, where do you start first? So the first thing you're going to do is going, all right, where are the subs at? If we can possibly get this sub on, we might be able to bring 20,000 people on. But it might have been a target on a panel in there. They can come and reset it, and we love it when you can do that. It's like 30,000 people are out of power. They hit a button, it resets it.
You're the hero.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you got 20,000 back on, and they got to go patrol the line and make sure, before that, to make sure they don't energize a fence or something that the wire's down on. And that takes time. You can't just flip a breaker, and if you got wire down and end up killing people because they're walking on a live wire. So you got to patrol those lines to make sure they're not down on someone's fence or through their backyard.
When you see and I've seen this a lot, when you see the orange tags, I that's what it is, and then there's like cables that run through it. What are those? What does that mean to me as a resident, or to you as a lineman, or to the lineman in general? Does that signify that work is happening there, or
it means that line? I saw the orange tags over there in Munster and Highland yesterday when I was going through. That means that line is held. That person put their whole card on it. Do not touch it, because somewhere they had to hold that line they put grounds on it. If you were to energize it, you'd have a big fireball there because you'd go straight to ground.
So when you say hold the line, that means someone's working on it. Don't mess around with it.
They could be working on it, or they could be holding it so that they could. Sometimes, if you see that all right, we're clear on this line all the way up to a certain point, but beyond here, say there's another 40 homes, they will cut that wire, curl it back, and tape it. That way, they can energize this section, re-energize it, and then once they get this area cleared or get the parts they need or whatever, they can come back and
do the rest of them
and reconnect it. But it may be held from here on to make sure that no one, because we got an issue back here.
So is that what you did? Something like that happen or not happen in East Chicago? If you're familiar, did you? There was a big outage and a fire and something evaporated. A panel evaporated because
they're still investigating. And
I mean, we're just talking in theory. I don't need to get anyone in trouble, and I'm not trying to.
Well, they said that they're starting back and they're going segment by segment to try to figure out where.
I was just wondering if someone didn't, let's flip the switch and all.
I called the substation guy. And he goes, I don't know. We're still looking.
I mean, it's just amazing to me. It's funny, and I don't mean to be critical, but I sort of do. Is the people that think is like, well, I changed the outlet in my house, so certainly this can't be that difficult. Well, and I tried to explain to people I know, I was like, well, the outlet in your house is sort of like that little trash can transformer that services your local neighborhood. That's cool, but if everything else, if the wiring is bad or the circuit's bad, and you keep on tracing it back, if one of those are bad, then this whole system doesn't work, and that's. I think people underappreciate it, and I'm sure you've battled, and we've talked off air with, you battled with everybody on this, but you also know a lot more about what's happening in the world. Oh, we going to do a break? We got a phone call. We're doing a break. We're going to break. Sorry, everyone. If you have phone, we've got 20 more minutes here. So after the break, you've got your chance to call or don't call and just keep listening to us talk. So thank you. We'll be right back after the break.
We've had some cars run into the barrier wall, not paying attention. They were on their phone.
Texting, scrolling. Yeah, it's bad. Most often they be on their phones or they're just not paying attention. They can cause a crash.
We could stand on the side of the road and watch every other vehicle looking down into their lap as they're passing us. You know what they're looking at. They're looking at their phone.
Phones. On their phones, not paying attention.
Phones. I'm not a mathematician, but I say probably about 80% of the people who pass me are on their telephones.
No call, text, or video is worth putting yourself or a road worker in danger. When driving through construction, LIUNA members ask you for your sake and ours.
Slow down, stay off your phone, please. Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
Stay off your phones and buckle up and drive safe.
We're not asking for much.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Planting a tree, installing a fence, whether your project is big or small, NIPSCO reminds you to know what's below and contact 811 at least 2 full business days before doing any digging so that utility companies can mark the location of their underground lines. Contacting 811 is free and it's the law. Avoid possible penalties, costly repairs, or injuries. DIY or a pro, safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time.
Fishing for a seafood meal without the stress or mess of cooking? Leave the work to the Strachan Van Til Seafood Department. For just $1 extra per pound, we'll fry, grill, or steam your fish with your choice of 3 kinds of breading. Try our fish and seafood dinners. Each includes a ½ pound each of seafood and fries, and a ¼ pound of coleslaw. Want the freshest catch in town? Reel in the fish and seafood selections from your local Strachan Van Til.
And good morning, everybody, and excuse me, welcome back to the show here. We've got Vern Beck here who has had 47 years in the electrical, gas, and distribution and generation side at NIPSCO, was union president for 17 years?
I was either union president or vice president for 17 years.
17 years. So we're just discussing different aspects, trying to get the facts out there, which is important, and sort of put to rest some thoughts that some people have. If you want to call, you can call. We'll take your phone call if you have a particular question. Don't ask about your service to a particular house, but if you just have general questions, we'd be happy to try to answer them. So go ahead. Caller, go ahead. Hello?
Yeah, I just had a question for your guest. Yeah, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
I had a question for you. Right, I'm still. I'm going to ask. Can you hear me to ask the question? Or?
Yeah, go ask the question and then hang up. We may be having technical difficulties here. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, my question is for your guest. When you guys are out in the field, I know there's rules and protocols and things like that. And my question is, when customers start shooting at you, are you allowed to shoot back, or what are the rules of engagement when you're in particular cities in the area where while you're doing work and trying to connect electrical lines, when you're shot at, do you have to wait to shoot back, or is it automatic? I'm just curious.
I will ask the question. Thank you for the call. You can hang up and we'll get back. His question was, because we're having audio issues here, is that if you get shot at as a lineman, what are the rules of engagement? And I think that's a sarcastic question. He's talking about the situation that unfortunately happened in Gary, where evidently a NIPSCO engineer or someone in a white vehicle had
some linemen.
Oh, was it linemen?
Yes.
So he's asking, I mean, certainly that's something they don't need to deal with. It's unfortunate. I don't think it speaks for everybody in the area. So, but I got to think that NIPSCO is looking at this going like, this is not really the greatest thing. And I can't imagine them sending in mutual aid folks in an area that has just had an issue similar to that. And I know the mayor had come out and they brought in some extra help there, but just one knucklehead doesn't necessarily represent everything, but it certainly doesn't help the situation that we're under. We're trying to do, your guys are trying to put power back into the system. So I think I understand that the question. He had a question. So we were talking before about mutual aid. They've called in, I think, 2,000 people all told, or is it more than 2,000 people mutual aid?
I've heard 100 crews. I've heard 200 crews.
What is a crew? How much is a crew?
Usually 4 people.
4 people. So, all right, 800.
Yeah, anywhere 500 to 1,000. I don't know.
Here's a selfish question: When do they start pulling mutual aid? Because the way I look at it, and I'm one of the 63,000 people that doesn't have the power. When do you think they would? This is only a guess. Start pulling mutual aid, because the way I look at it, the more isolated it becomes, the more saturated you can put crews and working on those more difficult situations. The people from Florida and West Virginia have to go back immediately, and who pays for this mutual aid?
That'll be a decision made by some NIPSCO management person that will say, hey, I think we could handle it from here. But mutual aid, they typically are paid much higher than normal because they're coming up and they're being paid, they're being housed. It's an expensive cost, so they're going to want to cut them loose, but they also don't want to cut them loose too soon. So that'll be some management will make that decision on when they think that they can do it.
Do they house? I mean, NIPSCO houses them. I'm assuming they provide the
yes.
shelter and the.
Well, they had all those trailers. I don't know if they still do it.
It's South Lake, yes, I know, because they. I've seen them, and I know people that are working out there for security, and because it's like a city almost. Like they're, like, is that typical, or do they usually? I mean, you can't put them in hotels, can you? Or I guess you could.
I know we've had linemen that go to hurricanes.
Yeah,
and the bad part is when it takes out stuff, it takes out hotels too.
Right.
And so they would, I know the one time they said they set up a great big tent and gave cots, and they tried to sleep, and they said it was hot and muggy, and they ended up sleeping in their own trucks because it was more comfortable than trying to sleep in some tent with dozens of other linemen,
That have all just spent 10, 12 hours out in the field, probably. It doesn't necessarily work out well for hygiene
that's
purposes.
the thing that people, they get upset to see a lineman sitting there. That lineman's probably waiting for locates. He's waiting for the next order to come in. They're just as frustrated. They love putting houses on. That's a rush to, put someone back in power. They're waiting. They don't get to make these decisions on their own. They're waiting for the call. But they're also, back in 2009, it was negotiated that a mandatory storm mode. If management decides, this is management, we never get to, as union people, we never get to go, hey, I think we should call a major storm. Management decides, we're going to go into the major storm mode. And when I was president, I'd say, all right, when's it going to start? And they'd say, we're going to start it at 6 o'clock tonight. As soon as they claim it's mandatory storm mode, every lineman, all 200 and some across the state, have to go on 16-hour work, whether they like it or not. And a lot of these guys they're tired or whatever. They may have been just through a week of standbys where they're on call.
For a storm or for an event or
you'd
if
be
an
surprised
accident happens.
how many people yesterday when I came behind Four Seasons, because I live over out in the country east of Lakes of Four Seasons, and they got the road blocked off on my 725 on 100 South. So I'm behind Four Seasons, and some lady was way out in the field on a tee where she came through the tee. She was either looking at her phone or there was patchy spots of bog that she went right through the field, through the fence, and went through the field. So the amount of poles that are broke on a normal night through either drunk drivers or the road condition.
Yeah.
So you have to have people on call, or a branch comes off and just an old branch.
Right.
So you have people that are on standby that their job is they can't drink, they can't go anywhere, they got to be ready to go 24 hours a day for that, either 5 days or 7 days of the weekend, whatever it is. They may have just got off of standby where they were just getting called. And now all of a sudden they go major mode, major storm, and now they got to go 16 hours. And these storms don't happen when it's nice and sunny.
Oh, no.
It's usually the hot, muggy days, and it seems like notoriously on 4th of July.
On a weekend, typically, right?
And it seems like 4th of July just is notorious for storms.
So let's just talk about fun stuff now. We don't have any callers yet. Okay, that's fine. They still love us. Does the fact that elected officials, and you mentioned this in your video, like, does the fact that an elected official goes a little bit, gets frustrated and writes something, nowadays it's on social media, back probably 10 years ago that didn't exist, does that impact where crews are sent? Or is it? I mean, it ultimately goes
they do
back
try. If they think they got they got constituents that are screaming at them. You need to do something. They want to get reelected.
Sure.
Or they want to do a good job.
Right.
You hope. And they're trying to do everything they can because they're getting tired of being yelled at.
Right. They're tired of getting yelled at.
And so with me, I've been in the job for so long that people started to know me because I would get out to different events and stuff. And so they would call me and go, hey, Vern, I don't know if you can help or not, but can you tell me when we're going to come back on? And I'd try to make the phone calls to see if I could help them out because I don't like just blowing people off or giving them some sassy little answer. And if I couldn't, then I would go out there to that job area, that area that's affected, and I would try to drive through to follow the circuits to see. And sometimes I'd see that there would be either contractors or NIPSCO workers out there, and I'd stop and go, hey, what's how much longer, whatever. But in situations like this where you got just driving through Portage and Chesterton and Munster and Highland and the amount of damage, it looks like a war zone. I've never seen it like this in the 47 years I was there. It's just, it takes out, when those big trees come down and it's taking out all those wires and snapping those poles. And we were in some areas where we just started cutting up wood, and it's like playing the game of Pixie Six, where you got to just sit there and slowly. And I'm sitting there, I see a pole, and amongst all this, I'm like, how did they get this new pole in there? Because the one lady in Portage said, yeah, I got power, and it's a duplex, but my neighbor doesn't. It's the same building, But you could see the cables that were ripped out of the wall that must have affected that side of the duplex.
I've only lived. I don't live what the life that the linemen do, and I have so much respect for. I mean, the danger, number one, but the complexity of it and making sure that everyone is safe is a big deal. I mean, it's just, to me, and I think I get people online are frustrated. They're like, well, I'm just mad because I haven't had power. Great. I haven't either, and it's not, I'm looking for an award, but I have an understanding, I think, and you're helping provide a better understanding with an educated side of things of how big this was. And I think people will look back at it, and if they don't, maybe they should drive outside of their neighborhood like you have, like I have, and see just the vast devastation. There's poles that have been gone, and there's things that are damaging. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, a mutual aid, I'm assuming, also would work with parts and poles, right? I mean, do the people from West Virginia that come up here or Florida, they bring their own poles, or they just bring their stuff? So you got to find. I can't imagine.
I was talking to a stockman last night, and he said that when that storm hit, they could see the devastation. They just started setting up pallets outside the storeroom with all the necessary parts that because they've been through this.
Right.
They know what the general parts you need. And he goes, we just started just putting them out there where they could come in and get them quicker instead of trying to go through the whole paperwork stuff and do all that. Now, before we're off here, I know we got
about 10 minutes.
Because I know people are upset about the trees, but I do want to make the point that it was about. I was talking to Mike Hooper, who was a previous union, the NIPSCO president, one day about the vegetation and this stuff, and he goes, well, they passed a new rule because some citizens got upset about tree trimming and made a rule that it was a new rule that NIPSCO had to follow, that if you're not in the easement, it's a regular customer's yard, if you want to cut their trees, now you had to send them a letter, ask them to sign off, and if they said no, you couldn't cut those trees. And our linemen would be frustrated because we know that this keeps blowing this fuse because this tree
keeps on in the wind blowing and it cuts it out. And I, like I said, I think earlier was I have to sign those permission slips where a contractor or subcontractor called or emailed me, said I need these permission slip, and I always sign it. It's like, yeah, do it. We have property, Gary, Munster, Hammond. So we have a caller, 2 callers. So we're gonna try to go through there. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Vern, thanks for coming on this morning and offering a little insight.
I'm translating. He can't hear, but I will. But go ahead with your question. We've got 8 minutes. We got to fly through here.
An earlier caller had touched on the incident that happened in Gary with the gunshot.
Yep.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that NIPSCO crews had a situation on Saturday as well, where all crews were pulled out of Gary because there were 5 shots fired in close proximity where our crews were. Did Vern touch on that?
I will ask him. Go ahead. We're going to go with the next caller because I'm just going to translate all the questions at once. So go ahead, caller.
Hi. I just would like an overview of what gets done first. Like, who decides? Like, is it by the degree of difficulty, the number of outages, how many people can be helped at once? It's like, how does it get decided, and who decides?
Okay, great question. So I'm gonna go backwards. I'm getting text messages too. So, are you aware of any shortage of supplies? There's rumors out there that NIPSCO does not have the supplies to fix whatever is broken.
Not that I'm aware. I talked to a stockman last night, and one of the ones that were more talkative, and he said that they have the material, that they didn't like the way that they were unloading them in the yards, but they did have the material because I wanted to make sure, do we have the material or don't we have the material?
Everyone has their own preference on how to organize things and do things. So as far as you know, and you have a person that would have a good idea, there is no shortage of supply. They have the supplies.
Not that I'm aware.
Not that you're aware.
But I'm retired. I don't have
understand,
the insight like I used to.
And you're not speaking for NIPSCO, or you're not speaking for the linemen. But you got 47 years of experience. And so, look, we all sort of have people that we can talk to. I trust your opinion. I think it's a lot better than the person that's online, right? So, I mean, we haven't heard anything from NIPSCO that said they're short. You haven't heard anything that they're short. I got to think that it's probably pretty close to they don't have a shortage of any supplies. So the supplies are there. A gentleman called earlier, said, were you aware of a second incident in Gary, in and around Gary, that pulled all crews out of Gary until they resolved it? Have you have any familiarity or understanding?
Not that I'm aware of.
So that's another one. And then the third caller asked, and I think we answered it as to how do you decide who gets put on first? And is it degree of difficulty? And I think you said it's all a part of the circuit. It's all a part of the way the power gets fed. And then ultimately, do you have the locates? Do you have the people that are taking care of the vegetation? Because as you said, the linemen can't go in there just because they go, oh yeah, that's it. They are told this is their order, this is what they do, because that has either been cleared through vegetation control or some engineer that said, yeah, we're good to go. Even though some linemen may think they know what it is, for protocol purposes, they want to make sure that it's in order.
As far as the priority, that's every storm is different on how it hits. And the general thing is to try to figure out how many people, if we put the circuit on, will it bring on more people than if we bring this circuit on first? They're always trying to
more.
Yeah. What can we do that brings on more people quicker? And with this type of storm, though, the devastation, you don't really know. Especially, I've seen it where you look back there and it's just trees just
crisscrossing.
Yeah, you don't know how bad it is, and it's going to take weeks to get that area cleared out. They might be able to get the poles up, but they'll still be clearing out wood.
We're going to wrap up. We got nothing else going on. Good, that's fine. So just to be clear, we're not speaking for NIPSCO. We're not trying to. My whole goal here was, I like to bring on people that have good experience, that know what they're talking about. We've all seen it online where, you've been the COVID expert, you were the foreign affairs expert this time, you know about oil in the Middle East. So when I hear stories and people and they're purposely holding me out, here's a question that comes up. Is there a priority? I mean, I know this is a large event, but is there a priority system? Meaning, for instance, we had a lot of hospitals out of power. A lot of hospitals were running on backup generators. Is that something that you look at, or do you think
hospitals
the planners
definitely are priority?
Because I can tell a couple of hospitals I knew were out till Saturday, so that's 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, it's hospitals have always been a priority.
Schools, and I'm just saying. I'm not saying you're speaking for anyone, but I'm just your experience with other.
It's usually hospitals are like the priority
because eventually, they could run out of backup generator unless they're on natural gas. But diesel fuel, I know was a thing. I know one of my friends, Matt Reardon, had suggested that from now on, all new gas stations should have backup generators because the fuel was there. They just couldn't get it out of the tanks below, and we were having. It was like the fight for Lysol wipes and N95 masks at a point. So anything else? We've got a couple of minutes that you would help the general public better understand what's happening. What could you do if you see a lineman, you just stay out of their way, give them a drink? Not that kind of drink. Water would be preferable.
Yeah, again, lineman is a very... Of the people, we've had 25 people killed due to workplace injuries. The majority of them are linemen. And I know several linemen that have had fingers and stuff burned off. And the last thing they need when they're up there trying to deal with energized electric is having someone down there screaming at them about, they need to be able to focus on what they're doing when they're up in the air. And this idea that you get frustrated and going to shoot at them, because we've had several incidents in the last several years of
not just this incident, but just in general, you're going up there.
And we've tried to pass laws before. I know Representative Chuck Mosley tried to pass laws to make it a little bit stiffer fine if you harm a utility worker, meaning communications and water. And we're the only ones as far as gas and electric. If there's gas smell in the house, we can't say, we don't serve that area between 1 in the morning and 4 in the morning. We still have to go into those areas. And if there's a broken pole and there's wire down, we still have to go in those communities. And we try to make it a law that, hey, you try to harm a utility worker, But they loaded it up and saying, well, we're going to add referees for basketball games and pizza delivery guys. Well, it is not the same, and they end up killing off the bill. And I did talk to Representative Andrade and Senator Pohl saying, hey, we need to bring that back up. Not that we think we're special, but we shouldn't have to worry about getting shot at when we're trying to do our job.
I would say you're in a classification of first responders, quite honestly.
Our little card says first responder.
Yeah. So in my opinion, that's what you are. Like when the power is out, and there's a lot of things. Power goes down, that wire is live. You got problems, and you got police trying to guard and fire departments trying to watch out, but there's only one really group that could really do something with that, and it's the folks that deal with the power. And so we've been through a lot, I know, for the last 10 days, and I know that it will be a little bit longer for some, but I'm very thankful that you came on. It was good to see you. If I met you before, I'm sorry. I'm retired from the political sense, but I think we answered a lot of questions for the public, and if you didn't, you should go on Facebook and look up Vern Beck here. He will. It's a great description. It's 2 minutes long or so. You did a good job.
About 8 minutes.
Is it 8 minutes?
Because I was like, I thought it was like 2 minutes, but then someone said, look, they text somebody else and said, they'll answer your question about 6 minutes in. I'm like, really? And I looked at the whole thing, and I was like, oh, wow.
Well, you were having fun then. Just like you were having fun here. You did a whole hour, and you didn't realize it, so we're good.
When I made that video, I'm like, I don't know. People kept asking me questions. I'm like, should I do this, or do they already know this? Is it going to be going like, of course we already know that. Why are you wasting your time?
We're going to try to get as many thumbs up and likes as possible. You may go viral, and that'll be your second career. You can have your own podcast.
I like the idea of just working in the yard, chilling as a retiree.
Well, I appreciate it. We thank you for coming in. You've been listening to me for the last 3 hours babble. I have to go down to my day job. It's 9 o'clock. Be safe, everyone out there. Be patient. It will be okay. We'll get through it, and we'll be able to do whatever you were doing before this storm event happened. So with that, we're signing off. Thank you.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need